Good morning, all. Welcome to another episode of Analysis of the Crime with CD. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. 1 second here. Trying to stop this TV. It's not working. 1 second. All right, we're good. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. I am here. I'm still battling that thing. Not fun. I'm sure you could hear it in my voice. It's been an adventure. The reason I didn't have a live last Thursday and Friday, Friday, Thursday, I think we had one. Friday, I woke up and my entire throat was all swollen. Had to go on steroids. It was not fun. It continued this week and been on prednisone now, and I'm doing better. So we're getting there. Yeah, Sasha, I'm getting better. Slowly, but getting there. I mean, this was just weird that I was pretty much the only one in the house getting it this time. And we're here. We're here. Let's get going. A lot of stuff to cover. I want to actually bring up. Let me get to it. I want to bring up Ron Logan's search warrant just to go over facts, because I mean I just saw somebody asking a question because they're probably new and they're seeing content out there about a video being filmed underneath the bridge. What's up, Frank Meister? It's utter nonsense. It's just not. It's such nonsense. But that's just what's being put out there. I don't really get it. But when we go to the search warrant, yeah, I know it's March 17th, 2017, the search warrant, but it's factual, and the facts are in there. So you can't take away facts. Facts are facts. Let me get to it. Yeah, okay, I got it open. So let me just say hi to everybody, see what the chat's saying, and then we're going to dive in. I'm just going to briefly go over the most pertinent information within the search warrant, because that will put to bed the nonsense that's out there. And again, I can't tell you who to watch. Not up to me. It's up to you. You give them a voice and you feed their ego, it's going to keep festering. So, yeah, it was a good discussion last night. I'm happy I popped on for the last maybe 50 minutes, hour. Sleuth always has good content going. Shut him down. You're here. This is thing. I crip walked in after I just turned my TV off. I think you missed it, but I did a little crip walk. I did it just for you. Just checking the comments quick, and then we're going to dive in. We're going to go 106 in the chat. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. Channel's growing. We broke the 2,000 sub threshold. Yeah, I mean, Sleuth, we talked about it last night. It's just the stuff that's out there, and I'm glad we talked last night, because there's so much. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on now, and you thought with an arrest that it was going to change and it was going to, move into a different direction. But the sealed documents, and I get it. They want to seal them up front. Fine. I don't see them staying sealed. I just don't. That's my opinion. But we're going to see how it goes. All right. So let me say, thanks, Bossy. Appreciate that. And honestly, it's because of all of you that the channel's growing. And I Sleuth helps. Sonny helps. Everybody helps. And all of you help by liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'm here because of all of you. So that's why I'm here. Oh, Sharon, I'm sorry to hear that. I know you guys are taking a little beating. New York, we're supposed to get like a half-inch of rain tomorrow. It's nothing what you guys are dealing with. Just be safe. Be as safe as you can. Thank you. Is that New York, Rory? I appreciate that. Sleuth is a good friend of mine. And it's, I've made a lot of good friends here. And a lot of people who will slay you while you sleep here too. So, the ones that are your friends, you stick with your friends, man. So it's a good friend of mine. All right, so let's just talk about, because I know somebody in the chat before even came on was talking about Jennifer Coffindaffer, the retired FBI agent. And I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's important because even before Richard Allen's arrest, she was physically tweeting about Ron Logan's search warrant and how he was basically the sole killer. Now, that clouds judgment of everybody looking at the case. Haunted Paul is trying to read my lips. That's pretty funny. I actually can do that. I learned that, but it's kind of hard if I have an iPad Pro and I have to look to the side, so it's a lot of times I'm not even looking at the mic, at the camera and the mic. They're off to the side, kind of weird on the iPad Pro. You wish it was up top, but it's not. So my question is, Nicole Robertson, who drafted up the search warrant for Ron's, what is her relationship with Jennifer Coffindaffer? And is that why the judgment is so clouded? It's possible, you know. The FBI, yes, it's a big organization, but it's just like the NYPD, man. NYPD, when I got hired, it's 37,000 cops. The group you go to the academy with, we started with like 1,750 in 2001, and when we graduated, there was less than 1,300 less. So that's how many left because of 9/11. You know, and I totally get it. It was, you got pulled out of the academy. You know, you're 8 weeks into the police academy, you get pulled out for 9/11. So we probably lost maybe 150 people that just said this is not for me and just didn't show up. So I get it. But then a lot of people, you're sitting in a classroom doing, you know, whatever, behavioral science or whatever in the academy, and they just knock on the door and you're a police officer even when you're in the academy. Yes, you're a probationary police officer, but they like to have the authority over you. So if you have just a patrolman who's teaching in the academy, they call you PPO, not just PO, so like probationary police officer. So they want to show the authority over you. So they'd knock on a door and it'd be like, PPO, let me take a name out of here. Phony Finn, PPO Phony Finn, please get your bag and meet me outside. Once you hear get your bag, that person, you're never seeing that person again. That was like, you're like later, that's it. That person either they got something in their background check, they did something bad over the weekend, whatnot, they're gone. So like when you would see that people come to knock on the door, it was the oh shit moment. Like, did I do something wrong this weekend? I don't think I did, but who knows? People get yanked, that's it. So we ended up under 1,300, and you would go to, you know, for you go to a different detail, and even though you didn't talk to that person, you remember faces. You see that we saw them for 8 months every day, you know, an A and a B squad. So you'd work 8 to 4 one week, the next week you'd go to the academy 4 to 12. So when you're going in, you're seeing them come out. When you're going out, you see them coming in. So you get to know a lot of people. So you know each other. And then when you're working on different cases, you're on the task force, etc. You learn to meet people. So that's why I'm saying like that's a 37,000 member police force. FBI is not that large. You get to know each other. You go back to, you know, Virginia for training. You go to different things. You learn to, you know, to meet people. So Joseph, does RA's traffic record point to his character at all? No. I mean, come on. Getting speeding tickets or whatnot doesn't, you know, that's not the same as having a criminal record, you know. So okay, let's get back to the search warrant. So Nicole Robertson, Jennifer Coffindaffer, what is the relationship? Is there a relationship there of some sorts? Do they know each other? Why is this woman still talking Ron Logan, but yet News Nation and the affiliate that went live last Monday for the press conference, she was on there like opening it up. Like, why is she even there? This woman still thinks it's Ron Logan. What is she doing there at Richard Allen's, you know, the press conference announcement? Just bizarre shit. All this case has bizarre stuff all the way around it. Tell you something funny. I don't. I don't have a traffic record. I have never gotten. I've never gotten a speeding ticket, and that's not to say I've never been stopped. But I always treated, you know, I actually one time, because I was in, you know, back then, you know, in '99, I was in college for criminal justice. So if you told the trooper that when you got stopped, they'll kind of mess with you. But then, you know, if you're not doing something crazy wrong and you're not a bad person, they didn't want to hammer you and put, you know, a traffic, you know, summons on your record. So I was on a bridge one time, and I'm talking about it was dead of winter, February. You know, it was like -5 with the wind chill, and he wanted to bust my chops. He asked me to step out of my car. I had like 3 people in my car. We were just driving around and stuff, but you know, we were going to a different county and whatnot. We went over this bridge, and he made me. I had a Mustang convertible. No, the top was not down. It was way too cold. But you know, he wanted to make an example out of me, so he actually made me stand at the back of my car without my jacket. He wouldn't let me get my jacket that was, sitting on my seat that I was sitting on. He just wanted to make an example out of me. He made me sit there for like 15 minutes. I'm going, shit, I'm going to take a, I don't know. It was going pretty quick, 55, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to, because the whole thing is that you're always going to always have something against you. So I didn't want that. But then I was actually bartending, and I got hit with serving a minor who actually gave me a fake ID. So he was arrested for showing me a fake ID, but my name is too long to be printed on my license. It's just not enough. So it says C, my middle name, initial, and my last name. And I wasn't being a wise ass. I mean, maybe I came off that way, but the sergeant was like, he's looking, goes, what does the C stand for? So I'm like, is he for real? So I said, I didn't say my name. I said my first name. So he made them arrest me. I got brought to the police station. I was given the summons, and it ended up getting dismissed. I had to go for like 9 months every month, and it kept getting pushed back because where I worked, it was a college town kind of thing, and there was a lot going on there. So my case just kept getting bumped back. They did dismiss it because of me IDing the guy, him giving me a fake ID. He got arrested for it. And he was like, at every court appearance I was at, the damn guy was there too. And I'm like, what is going on here? They ended up dismissing it. The guy just wanted to basically teach me a lesson for being a wise ass that I wasn't, but that's just the way life goes. That's the way life goes. So yeah, I have one time in my life, I had handcuffs put on me, and I was 18. And I was, and I'll tell you the crazier story to it is my brother's also a cop, and we come from a line of cops. My grandfather was a cop. My great uncle was a what's it called, like auxiliary captain. And that back then that was like the 70s. Like they didn't have big police forces, so the auxiliaries were pretty big. He was a captain of the auxiliaries. I think they actually had more auxiliary cops than they did paid cops where that was. But so, I got home late that morning, and I was just miserable. And I probably fell asleep for maybe an hour. And I hear somebody going, you're gonna tell me what you did last night? And I'm going, what the hell? Why is my brother in my room? So my brother was working, and he actually was working when it came up over the teletype, because basically any arrest that happened comes over the teletype. So my brother got the teletype, and boom, there's me. So he's like, I'm telling mom. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you're going to tell mom on me? I'm like, really? Like, why don't you hear what happened first before you go and tell mom? So yeah, been there. I've experienced it. Not fun, but been there. Lucky lady. Good for you. Keep it going. I'll always tell you, you get stopped by the police, don't be nasty. Be nice. It goes so much further, Who's writing a book? Me? I could write. I honestly could probably write a pretty good book. I probably could. Not just on this case, but just in general. I think it would be pretty good. Public Art says, in my opinion, 100% knew something. Well, you know what? I got to be honest. The way the affidavit is written up, we don't know exactly, because they never confirmed the times of when he called exactly or showed proof of it in the search warrant. We don't know actually what happened. If he called, the day after they were found or whatnot. They write it up that he asked before the girls were found, but there's some stuff in the search warrant that leans heavy to make Ron Logan look like the sole killer of the girls. And look where we are today. Oh, I was pissed. I was not hysterical. I'm like, you're saying that that's the guy that is underage and he's in handcuffs too? Yeah. Fake ID. And, it just is what it is. I was taught a lesson that day to never, when somebody asked me what my initials stand for, not to say my first name, to just give my name. Oh, he told on me. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was great. He did tell me. He was pissed, and I get it. He was embarrassed that he's working the desk, and it came over, and they're all talking about, what's your brother up to? What's he doing? And he's like, my brother's in college for criminal justice. He's like, so I get it. I got pulled over for a 4-week-old baby screaming. Cop let me go as I was trying to get to the gas station. Oh boy, that's a brutal one. I've stopped people who have given the wackiest excuses, and sometimes you just kind of say, "Do you need an ambulance?" When they say like, I'm having a stomach thing," and blah blah blah. So sometimes, when they're going really fast and they're just using it as an excuse, they'll just say like, "Would you like me to call an ambulance for you?" I'm not always the nice CD. Sometimes you get the whole thing is when people play with you, and you can tell they're playing a game. It's just I don't play that. Nicole Robertson, the FBI agent author RL's warrant. Do you believe she honestly suspected Ron, or was more concerned with clearing him if possible? No, sleuth. The FBI. I totally feel that's that we had maybe 28 months of wasted case investigation because they were leaning so heavy until the 2019 presser. Just my opinion from what I read on this thing. Also, why I feel that the FBI wasn't there at the presser last week. I feel that the ties have maybe severed, and they still use for the tips. It's still going through the Orion / whatever the hell it's called system that the FBI has, but still, it's just I don't think so. I think that they were heavy on him, and it shows. You have Jennifer Coffindaffer, retired FBI. She was preaching it up until RA got locked up. Richard Allen. What flavor is Lost? I have a bunch. Juicy peach is amazing. The strawberry ice is amazing, and they got 5% nicotine, so you are getting your nicotine. It will help you quit smoking. I am 3 days away from 6 months. Pretty impressive. Do I crave cigarettes? Yeah, I do once in a while, but I'm done. Took my kids to. I asked them. Does Daddy stink? What does Daddy smell like when I smoke? And my daughter's like, Dad, I never wanted to say it, but it smells really bad. I had 4 cigarettes left in my pack. It was a Friday. Smoked them. Done. I actually tried the Views vape first. It's kind of like the one that got banned. I forget what that one's called, but I like these better. These are amazing. People are like, "Oh, you're not tasting tobacco." These things taste amazing. They are good. Could RL and RA be been all right? So before I get to the search warrant, let me just check something. Let me give you what I do know about how close of ties there could be. Hold on one second. I want to see. Okay. So let me go to this. I'm not saying the person's name. They're probably watching. Great person. Very well connected in Peru and Mexico, Indiana. So last week, in the last 5 days, he emailed me to tell me that 3 state police undercovers, so not sure Carroll County Task Force was there or not, rolled up very close to 305 West 2nd Street. And I'm just confirming what I have here. And they were just talking a little bit to some of the neighbors, that's where Richard Allen used to live, 15 years ago. But it's not just about, he's gone 15 years from there. There are many connections in that area. It's only a 3-minute drive from TK's house, Keegan's house. There's a lot of friendships there that intertwine. So anybody saying that there's nothing between the two, it is bullshit. And I'm going by this person I trust. Okay, I get a lot of stuff sent to me. I built a relationship with this person. I trust the information given. And in the same day, they were also seen talking to Keegan's cousin, Trexler. So there's a lot there. There is stuff that's intertwined. So it's just what's there is there. If the case was closed, it would have been you would have had finality to it. We didn't. There was nothing to say this is final, this is over. We got the tip line is still open. We need tips. 300 new tips came in the first 24 hours. What's it telling you all? Think about it. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they hammered him on the driver's license stuff. They hammered him on his probation. And that tells you a lot too. They basically threw the book at him because in their eyes he wasn't cooperating on the murders. If let's say it again, I'll say it again. March 17th, 2017, day of the search warrant on Ron Logan's property. Multiple canines were there. You had a huge police presence. Crime scene units were there. They searched that entire property, front to back, sideways, all the outbuildings, the home. If one speckle of blood was anywhere near in his vehicle, in the outhouses, anything like that, he would have been arrested. He wasn't. So that puts to bed the bullshit that's out there that, oh, the girls were murdered in the shed and moved. No, read Ron Logan's search warrant. They were killed in that kill zone site, the sunken area where there was a lot of blood. The bodies removed a couple feet to complete staging. That's it. That's what happened. Not this. There's nobody filming the girls being murdered and chased under the bridge. Nonsense. But that's the problem here. You have nonsense out there, and they don't understand the repercussions of their stupid shit. How bad it hurts the family. Stop with the bullshit. That's awesome. Steve's a good man. The only issue with doing the ping now is that there's more towers. There was only 2 back in 2017. So that's the only issue there if you're going to get it fully accurate. LA were either giving RLA proper shakedown, 2 pretending to give him a shakedown as part of the strat. No, they were very heavy on him. They were coming at him. If you haven't read the search warrant unredacted, you should. Wealth of knowledge in there. I'm sure that the defense team will bring up Ron Logan's search warrant. It's out there. It's public knowledge now. It's there's going to be a lot of things thrown at a crime at the trial. I don't believe killed Abby and Libby is right, but have an open mind with during investigation. Being television doesn't help, but it actually hurts a case. Absolutely. You have to go where the evidence is leading you. That's just the way it is. You could be laser focused here, but you have evidence that takes you here. You're going this way. Doesn't matter how hard you're feeling here. You have to branch and go. That's normal. No, that's normal investigations. That's how you solve crime. Hey, D, no problem. Happy you're here. Yeah, and listen, I do feel she does good things with missing people, missing children on Twitter. That's great of her, but she's damaging the Delphi case. It's just nonsense, you know. Everybody that's trying to quit smoking, I thought it would be impossible. You will do it. Just replace the vape in between cigarettes. Don't smoke a whole pack of cigarettes. Try and go down to half a pack. You got to just find what works. Hearing my kids tell me I stunk, that was like enough for me. And now mother smoker. When she comes around me, I'm like, oh my god, it's you don't smell it as a smoker. And I know it's hard to believe for anybody that's never smoked. We do not know how bad we smell like an ashtray. We just don't. Yeah, I'll tell you what's sick is that smokers, when you have a bad cold, when a cough is coming on and stuff, you actually smoke more, which doesn't really make sense, but I think it's just your mind making you fiend it more. Good for you, Miss Dog Lover. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what that vape is called. I never liked it, the little thin rectangle one that everybody liked. It was very dry for me, and I would basically choke to death trying to smoke it. It just wasn't working. Oh, hey, what's up, bloke? Yeah, I'm hanging in there, man. Friday, what I woke up, I'll tell you all, what I woke up to Friday, I actually showed Dee the picture. I showed a few people the picture because it was so gross. Uh, that thing we have in the back of our throat. If you don't know what's called, it's called the uvula. So what happened was it was kind of like called uvalitis. My thing in the back of my throat was like 6, 7 times the size of itself and was sitting sideways on the back of my tongue. I was choking to death. That's why I got put on steroids. That's why I couldn't talk. I think last Thursday I had the live and I was struggling there and I didn't know what was going on, but I found out Friday morning. It's horrifying. Good luck, Freckle Joy. Just be careful with Chantix. I'm hoping that you don't have the dreams that when it first came out, I knew a lot of people that tried it that were cops, firemen, paramedics. And one of the medics had horrifying like nightmare dreams and stuff. Just be careful. Make sure you know your dreams aren't real. Hey, Steffa. Hope you're doing okay. Hope your daughter's doing okay. Huh. I'm not sure about that one. I'm just checking the comments. Then we're going to go into the search warrant. So you guys always derail me, but it's okay. I'm here to have fun. Gotta have some fun along with the true information. Yep, absolutely, Sleuth. That's why anybody that's saying the nonsense of the girls were killed elsewhere and brought there. They it's horrifying and tragic to say, but they were bled out like animals, like like a lamb would be put to death on Christmas morning, 50 years ago. It's terrible. It's but we gotta stick to the facts. But it is terrible. Yeah, just be careful. I think you're still talking about the Chantix. That's scary stuff. You will do it. And if you have kids that are a little bit older, just ask them to be honest with you. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's it for me. That's it for me. Yeah. And the whole bloodlust comment, like the YouTubers they're bloodlust. That's insanity. There are probably a few out there that are just salivating, for the details. But the whole thing with the arrest affidavit is that it shows the public the reason he was arrested. It shows the facts of the case, and no arrest affidavit, probable cause affidavit has hurt a case at trial. It's part of the process. So, and I know the family got signatures and whatnot. I'm not against that at all. I totally get it. They want to do, what they want to back the prosecution. That's totally fine. I just think it's going to be hard to keep it sealed after the 22nd hearing. Got to just see how it goes. Frank, I'm just reading Bloke's thing, his comment to you. I'm so sorry about the loss of your brother and your mom. I didn't know that. I had no idea that your brother passed away a little bit ago and your mom just passed away. I'm sorry, man. That's terrible. Just keep your head up, man. That's not easy. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, it's tough, but smokers smoke, and being sick kind of makes you want to smoke more, which is wacky, but it's true. Yeah, Chantic's got to be careful. I've heard some very scary stuff. Well, you know what, Bloke? Watching the videos that his wife had of Richard Allen, you could see that she's very overbearing and on top of him. So my opinion is that he would never keep anything within his home. Doesn't matter. He wouldn't. So I feel that shed outside was like his man shed, and it was just his. This is my space. Don't touch my shit. Blah blah blah. This is it. So I feel that that's why the shed played such a role, and the rumor of only like 4 items being taken out, that was probably seen yard to yard of what they were taking out, in the area of the shed. But if you read Ron Logan's search warrant, any electronic device would be taken. I'm sure through the front of the house there was a lot of evidence taken out. I highly doubt that only a small amount of evidence was taken. Yeah, I think in the U.S. it was taken off, but Chantix I still think is used in other countries. I believe because somebody's on it right now currently. I think. But, you got to be careful trying to go cold turkey on anything. I mean, yeah, I stopped the cigarettes, but I was replacing the nicotine with the vape. I mean, you could really your body. You can't just go cold turkey for much. I mean, not even coffee. It's very hard. You get massive migraines. Lori, I mean, as of now, what we know is bridge guy who is seeming to be Richard Allen closed in on the girls, and took them down the hill. Did he go directly across the creek up the embankment to the kill zone? Yeah, highly possible. But I also think that there's more to the story, and there could be more suspects coming. That's just my opinion. That's based on just my career in law enforcement, along with just other stuff still going on. You know, 49er fan, Chica Dog, Niners. Since I was 5 years old, man, I love Joe Montana. I do not like any New York football team. I actually, I'll take that back. I root for the Jets. I don't like the Giants. Giants and 49ers have had many battles. Joseph, remember what I said? I said it from over a year ago. 3 to 5 people is what I've always felt, and I will be, I, I will be stumped if Richard Allen ends up being the sole killer. I will be stumped, and I will take ownership of it, saying that I was wrong. I'm just seeing too much activity still ongoing, and getting information out of Peru of what's going on there. There's a lot going on. Well, I mean, if you look at some of the other redactions, they just redact in Ron Logan's search warrant. I think they were just redacting names at first, or that might be maybe somebody else redacted names there. I take that back, but I don't know. If others are involved and that's why it's sealed, yeah, you want to you don't want you don't want anybody getting hinked up and starting to burn stuff in burn pits, you know. But let's think about Richard Allen. They checked the burn pit in the back of his house. They checked the burn pit behind TK's house. They checked the burn pit at TK's father's house, the grandfather, Jerry Kline, who just passed away within the last year. So what's that telling you? All these yards being searched. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. It doesn't change. Yes, they were moved and staged, but my opinion, it was feet, like minimal feet, just to complete the staging, not removed and taken a half a mile away. The blood that was lost at the murder scene is where they were found. It says it in the search warrant. I'm going to go through that. I'm just checking questions. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they will redact some of it. Um, the media will start suing, for it and whatnot, and that's just part of the legal process. We know Richard Allen is asking for a public defender. Does he have the finances to, pay for his own defense? Well, his house is paid for in cash. We know that, but that's not up to us. That's up to the judge, and they will have a conversation about his finances and whatnot. That in New York, the initial happens at your initial arraignment, going over will you be able to retain counsel, and the judge would have a paper, and it would basically ask how much money do you make a year. I had a guy that was arrested for assaulting me because we went to the house on a domestic, and the funny part was when he was asked by the judge, how much money do you make, and he's like how much money do you make a year? He goes, it's very hard to say. The judge's like, what does that even mean? He's like, well, I work on Wall Street, so it's just hard to say year to year. He's like, okay. He's like, what do you make a month? He goes, well, that's really hard to say too. He goes, okay, what'd you make last week? He's like, I made 16,000 last week. He's like, yep, you can pay for your own attorney. Checked it off. It was one comical part of a pretty shitty situation. Yes, we're up to 340 people in the chat. Please like, subscribe, and share it. I will try to get to all your questions. I still have to go through the Ron Logan search warrant. So let me catch up on the chat, and then we will go through the search warrant. And then if you could hold your questions until after, just so you know, you can keep talking in the chat, but it's going to be hard for me to do both. I do not. I do not believe Richard Allen is a serial killer. And I know there's a certain profiler who feels the definition of serial killer fits Richard Allen because of his crime scene that he left behind. Not true. So I think that's you can't make your own definition of a serial killer. Jill, it's hard to say. I mean, she's very overbearing and on top of him, and that's not a bad thing. That's some relationships are like that. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't take offense to that if anybody's like that with their husband or wife. You know, not for me to say, but you can just see that for him to keep anything from the crime scene, it would have to be in his space, not in a shared space, because she's somebody that's going through your sock drawer. I mean, to be honest, that's just, you know, he would have to go put his stuff somewhere that's his, and there's no sharing that space. Yeah, please do. All good. Fire it over. Drexler knows something 100%. Well, I just gave you a little tidbit of info that was passed along to me. I think McClellan is going to be a very good prosecutor on the case. Will they bring in someone else to assist them? We don't know. You know, I know the question was asked to me, will Robert Ives come on as a special prosecutor? Robert Ives was there in the initial, and he did say before he went at his retirement at the end of 2017 that he would be open to coming back and helping. I don't think McClellan's going to hand the case to anybody, you know, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't bring somebody on to assist. Yes, Jeff Saturday is the new head coach for the Colts. Listen, I know people are a lot of bashing it, but you know, Jeff Saturday's a good dude. He knows how to get an offensive line turned around. We'll see what happens. You know, I could say 90% compass. There was digital help. Physical is unknown to us. Yeah, I think there was both. I think there was both. I think that even the Marathon gas station could have been used as a spot to leave a vehicle. Yeah, I talked to Sleuth last night on this live, and I was just talking about how license plate readers are heavily used. You know, especially when you got a police car stopped and they're just pouring in data of every vehicle that goes by when roads are closed off for the murders. I found something very interesting because I said, you know, you never know. People don't use license plates when they're committing a crime like this. They use old plates that, you know, aren't able to be scanned into that from 30 years ago. People have plates in their garage everywhere. And I will just say that a certain family that starts with a K, and anybody wants to do search history on the criminal histories, you will see two people in that family have some license plate traffic infractions. One for each of them, and they're both named the same. They both have the same first name. Same first name given, not the name we know them by. So you'll figure that out. Last name's K. Oh, thanks, Joseph. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super sticker. That's awesome of you. Is it procedure check burn pits? Well, I think there was some chirping going on. There was some info given, and I know chirp is the Indiana and some other states use that system. So that's not why I say chirp. I've always said chirping. You know, that the criminal is going to chirp and give up some info. No, forensic astrologer staged is not definitely a serial killer. You know, when you're staging a murder scene like this, you're doing it to give off something else. You're not. You might be going with signature and getting confused. Signature is like your a killer's calling card. You know, you're leaving your calling card behind to take ownership of that murder. Staging is not the same. The area was searched on the 13th. Not sure what area we're talking about. Maybe Ron Logan's, but they didn't go up the embankment. That was never searched. And where the girls were found, it's sunk in. So you're not going to just see that from across the creek. It went up and then it went down and pitched up. So you wouldn't see them from there. Great. I think several involved. There are probably quite a few in the community covering for this reason. It's either covering for CSAM network or initial. Well, let's just think about the presser last week. You know, Carter did his normal stuff. Carter, as I said, from the first time I came on YouTube to even talk about the case in chat, that Carter's a good guy and he's a great person to work under in law enforcement. He does speak in riddles, and you got to take the riddles with him. He talked about how it was a 2-cup drive from his house to the from his house to the church to do the presser. Um, he took the long way or whatnot. It's just he talks in a lot of rambling. Tip line's still open. They're still getting tips. That tells me a lot. He said the words of, I gotta go back and read it, but he said something like, I know a lot of people were hoping for this to be like final. I mean, what is that telling? I wish I could tell you the tale, the story, the whole story. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And that tells you that it's not as easy as Richard Allen grabbed the girls, might have duct taped them because there's no sign of a struggle when they were murdered, and walked them down the hill, took them to the kill zone, killed them himself, and that's it. It's very hard to believe. In Rod Logan's search warrant, we're going to go over it. It talks about they feel there was there was photos taken or video of part of the crime scene, the murders. There's something pointing, that's what I said. Was there an indentation of a tripod in the ground? What makes them feel that there was video and photos taken? You wouldn't just think that for no reason. There's a reason they feel that way. Nobody's saying his wife knew. I mean, could she have, seeing the first sketch, think of, you have to remember, people are saying, oh, his nose isn't exactly like the first sketch. For a sketch to be drawn up, a witness has to take a photographic memory of the person he saw and be able to give that to the artist who's going to draw it out. So that's people forget that. Carter says it's not a photograph. Don't even think of it. It's not a photograph. Think of how it has to occur. You have to have somebody see the suspect, remember exactly what they saw, slowly relay that information as the artist draws this out. It's never going to be perfect, but the first sketch does look a lot like him. So did the wife ever think about it? It's possible. Supposedly the house, and I saw it on his criminal on his background check, that it was paid for in cash. There might be 2 mortgages now, but I believe his parents might have given the money to buy that house. But you could be right. There could be 2 open mortgages. I mean, people take money out of their homes all the time. I feel the investigators need to protect the integrity of this case, and we need to be patient. Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, the media is not going to be patient. The media wants this affidavit. That's just the way the legal system works. And I know Cop Facts, another retired law enforcement, he put out a video and he was talking about narcotics cases, and how when you're moving up the ladder on narcotics cases, those are sealed, and that's true. Confidential informants are in there. You're trying to get to the big fish. I mean, the vehicle I stopped the next day when we took down the house where there was 27 kilos of cocaine, and I ID'd the driver and the passenger. It was a very, very, and I had back up very far away, but I had to go up to the car alone. And there was said that they probably had firearms in the car, 2 guys and just me. And I had to act like it was just a regular traffic stop. They didn't use their blinker. I had to wait till they did something for me to stop them. They didn't use their blinker, but it could have turned bad very quick. So yeah, there are cases in narcotics where you do seal because of confidential informants. You don't want anybody being tipped off. Yes. I don't feel that it's the same with this case. That's just my opinion. Domestic calls are the most dangerous. Yeah, for everybody involved, because the wife could need us there to protect her, and it. As soon as you put your hands on the husband because he's fighting, she could absolutely attack you, and it's happened many times. Yep, I think it was 142. I think I think it was 142,000. 428 people in chat. Drop the likes. Drop the likes. I agree. Analysis of crime scene. I would be shocked as well if it turns out RA is a lone killer. In my opinion, I think up to 3 were involved. Have to see how it pans out. Exactly. That's why I've been saying 3 to 5. It just depends on roles. And after 3, the 4th and 5th could just be involved very distantly, but it's possible. Thanks, bloke. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's horrifying to think of, but this murder was very well planned out, and I think that comes into play as to why it almost got to the 6-year mark before an arrest was made. Yeah, we know this, and nobody's saying that she is guilty for anything, and even Richard Allen, it's all alleged right now. Alleged. I'm not sure why it's a thumbs up. Oh, Pat Brown. Yeah. Pat Brown made her own definition for a serial killer. So let's not go there. And I'm not saying any of her work is bad in any way. It's just you can't make up your own definition for a serial killer. Serial killer. And why do you think RA has not killed before? Double homicide is a big thing for first time. Do you think it is likely has committed other serious crimes in the past? No, I don't. I don't. Just I'm able to read people very well, and not that I've seen anything of him, but I've seen how he acts in videos and stuff like that. I personally do not see him as somebody who killed before this. I just don't, and I think that there's a story to tell as to why that is, and we're going to get that eventually. Yeah, the Marathon gas station, if anybody goes on Google Maps and pulls it up and you go just towards the left, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It's a very large parking area that you could hide a car back there. Having an iced latte with I hate this sticker because I feel like germs could be on it. With 2 shots of espresso. Got to wake up for all of you, so I might start shaking it a little bit. That's from all the espresso in here. Well, yeah, and I also when Carter talks about going over all the tips from the beginning, I think it has a lot to do with, did they miss a tip in the beginning? Because yes, FBI plugged their system in, but initially I think there were civilians that were helping man the phones. That's how many tips were coming in and whatnot. So they might have had to start They were probably writing tips down in the beginning in notebooks and stuff. So did a notebook get pushed aside that could have had the info in it? It's possible. There's a lot of reasons he said that. Yeah, well, go take a look at the last name K, the 2 with the same name, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm 10 minutes behind. I'm trying to catch up. Nancy Drew, the crime was bold and calculated, so I don't think it was a first murder. First murders are usually more careless. Yes, but what if there's more players involved? Well, staging the bodies, moving them in a certain way. How I'll say it like this. Sometimes murder scenes, you stage the dead like they're alive, like they're still alive. I'll just put it as that, and you could think about that how you want. I don't want to get too the script in it, but I think that will tell you a lot. Jim, she's just to me, from what I've only seen the videos and Facebook posts and stuff. It's not about being observant. It's more about it's more about he wouldn't be able to hide something that he covets, like stuff taken from a double murder scene within his home. So he's gonna have to use somewhere, somewhere that's his. And to me, that shed is his. Probably locked. Me and Soup talked about last night. Probably locked. This is mine. Do not touch. Everything in the house is ours. This is my area. Who knows if he had like a little woodworking thing, something that made him be able to go in there and do his thing. Who want to buy that house? Richard Allen's house? What? I mean, I don't think anything has occurred within the house. I mean, listen, I've seen houses that have had triple murder suicide that sold, and people live in it. They didn't knock it down, and it was a very, very tragic case, very disturbing case. So it's there's a lot there, and people live in it. I don't know how. I could never. There were children involved that lost their life in that house, but people live in it today, which is beyond disturbing to me. Oh, I'm sure I'm sure she had very strong opinions towards the murders. You know, that's why whenever they went to a bar, it was spoken about. I don't think it was just him. Yeah, the conversation alone, he's reliving that whole thing and inside. That's making him feel fuzzy and good. But this is a case that's been talked about since it happened. You can't get past it. And I know people talk about how they were old. Some of the every business basically has the old posters in there. It's just it's conversation that wouldn't stop. Facts, CD, the media will not stop until they have the PC. I agree, and that's just the way it is. But that's just what's going to happen. They're gonna keep going. Chat's growing, 480 people. Come on, everybody, like it. We didn't even get into the search warrant yet. I'm trying to keep up with all of you. Bedtime stories with Bella. How are you, Bella? The 22nd is the hearing. I told him I was on Suits last night for the last 50 minutes. If anybody wants to go check it out, we talked about a lot of different things. You should go listen to it. I think he's going to have Richard Allen will have a court appearance with sometime next week to go over getting him an attorney. And the 22nd is the open hearing. So that's going to be interesting. And I'm sure somebody, Frank Meissner might go, someone from Indiana is going to go, and they'll be able to live report back as to what's going on, because there's no cameras in the courtroom in Indiana. Steve's in the house. I didn't see him. Steve, what's up, man? Hey, Alexa. Yeah, the Richard Allen letter shows a lot. Throwing himself at the mercy of the court. His eyes are wide open as to it's the what the fuck happened to me kind of thing. You get away with it for this long, and he thought it was never going to stop. So he thought it was never going to be solved. Zuder May. Hope all is well. Why is SE Sean Evans the leak? True crime housewife. Talking about the leak from within. Yeah, I mean, who knows who the leak is? It could be a part-timer, could be a part-time employee. I know what you're saying, Bella, but a probable cause affidavit is not going to hurt the trial. If he is the sole killer, the probable cause affidavits are released every single day, and it doesn't hurt them, hurt the case at trial. But it seems there's more going on. Well, Public Guard asked, are there two parallel investigations going on at the same time? We do know that there's a murder investigation going on, and then there's Keegan's Pandora's box, his Dropbox CSAM case that's the largest in Indiana history going on. So yeah, there's definitely multiple investigations going on at once. Come on, everybody, hit like. I want to see us blast past 500. That'll be pretty impressive. Let's hit the likes. 38 registered SOs within a 5-mile radius of his house. Yes. And we're going to touch base on, as you're saying that, we're going to touch base on the Adventures with Purpose news, because I put a pretty long post out in my community page after Kylie Rodney was found, and I didn't take anything away from them for Kylie Rodney being found, but just the statements that were made, very rash decisions to go into the guy Doug calling himself a lead investigator. I don't know what he was in. I don't know even know what that. I mean, your search diver, to call yourself a lead investigator and basically say that there was some kind of conspiracy or murder because Kylie was found in the rear of her vehicle. Vehicle that flips over, that's an SUV. That's the most likely place the body's going to be found. So it just bothered me. It bothered me kind of how they were jumping over law enforcement. Retired law enforcement, I don't really like that. But I just saw there were a lot of red flags for me. So I put a post out and I got bashed and attacked. I got some wacky emails because of it. Whatever. I mean, listen, sometimes people aren't going to agree with what I'm saying, but as you see, there were signs there that I saw. Did I think that this was going to come out? This was going to be what caused an implosion? No. But at the same time, let's rally around the victims. I mean, it's all alleged right now, but there were people initially bashing the victims. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, the from what I read, it's horrible, and you trust your family. Children trust their older cousins, siblings. There's trust there, and that was broken. You know, it bothers me. I have a daughter who's turning 11, and hearing that, it bothers me. Yes, it's alleged right now. I get it, but there was an absolute implosion from within, and now you're seeing a lot of the other guys they didn't know. They have resigned. It was a money grab, and a lot of them are talking about it now. That Jared would say, "Let's get the money shot," you know, when they were videoing and stuff. And I brought it up that does it bother me that they're for profit? No, it didn't. I mean, they were buying equipment and whatnot, but what we're seeing now, what we're hearing from the little bit that they could say, because a lot of them have non-disclosure agreements, so they can't really say too much. But very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. And do not bash those victims. Rally behind them. To be able to talk about what happened even 30 years ago is not easy. His sister lost her entire family for speaking up back then. I don't know what year that was, but statute of limitations are gone. And that's why in Utah these two charges are filed. There was other times it happened. I think one was in Vegas. Yes, it is all alleged, but there's a lot there. We'll go into more detail about that later. If KK tipped in RA, would he get paid the reward money? Oof. I don't know. You know, I don't. Let's just say if KK is the one giving that info, it's because he's involved. So no. Hey Marv, hope you're well. Another clue of AS connection was Carter's comment. He's never seen a case with so much data. Yeah, that, and also when McClellan was asked about it, he said that in time you will know. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? We don't know if it's 100% fact, if it was rumor or fact that RA Richard Allen was an initial witness. From what I have been told, he was interviewed. We have to also remember that I think I shared it in the community post about how there was all that chatter that they have spoken to the man from the first sketch, and he is no longer a suspect. There's a lot of misconfusion, a lot of different things said. So, it was very confusing. That was what was out there. Hey, TTM fangirl, hope you're doing well. Have you ever heard of the Club of Lafayette? Yes, I have heard of the club. They are, if all of that is factual, they are very disturbing individuals. Do I feel it's connected to this? Could be possible. Could it be connected just to the CSAM stuff? That's even more possible. Okay, you got a point there. Thank you, Nancy. We're at 501. 501 in the chats. Yeah, houses with murders in them do sell all the time, and this one was a brutal one. This was a brutal one, and I don't know how the people live there, but they do. How do you know nothing happened in that house? How do you know? Are you getting mad at me for saying that? I don't believe Richard Allen committed another murder prior or after the Delphi. That's my opinion as a retired law enforcement. That's just my opinion. You could feel differently. It's okay. I'm okay with that. It's America. Yeah, 100%. I feel that the outside was his and his alone. Yep. Just think about BTK. All them years, wife didn't know, kept souvenirs, women's clothes. She never knew. That is true. Trying to catch up in chat. And Sleuth, I think you said it last night. It is hard to keep up in chat when you have over 300. We're at 5. Hey Jessica, hope you're well. Trying to, yes, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not here. We got a lot to go over. Will the family, this is a good question. Will the family petition have any impact on the documents being unsealed? I don't know. I don't want to say no, but I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. And there's nothing wrong with them getting a petition. There's nothing wrong with them doing that. They want to back the prosecution. I'm just gonna say I don't know. Body okay. The Rockways, I know what you're saying about the Kylie Rodney case. Yes. The window being down, one window was broken. We don't know the force that she hit the water. Window could have broke. If say the vehicle, was on an angle, that front window could have, exploded on an impact. There's a lot there. We just don't know. But I said it that it's most likely just going to be a horrifying accident, and that's what it was. It was a tragic accident where a child lost her life. Nobody here at Public Art. Nobody. Anybody bashes the girls, they're gone. That's one thing I don't stand for. I don't stand for that at all. People can have their opinions, but once you cross the line, and even blaming the family as being a suspect or whatnot, I don't play that either. I don't have time for it. There's nothing that has shown us that. There's nothing that's gone that way. Zero. So we're at 516. Hit the like button. All right. I'm almost caught up, which is a good thing. So we're going to go into the search warrant affidavit once I catch up. Anthony says 500. Check you out. I appreciate everybody for being here. I got to make a membership. I think I'm going to make a membership because I've been asked in email and do some private stuff where you could give me a case. I think it'll be interesting. And tell me in the comments. Just drop a 1 if you think it's interesting, if it's something to do. Do a membership where, weekly you give me a case, and the next week for members only, we could go over that case. I think it would be interesting. Just something to put out there. You let me know how you feel. Public art is a shattered mirror. Is that a fact? I don't know if it is. I haven't felt that yet. But if things get out of hand, then we'll have to ask that person to leave. I'm not getting that. But if you're right, you might be, Angel Bear. It could be. Yes, we could do that too. We could go over the Jordan Sofer case. Yes, I just want to get into Ron Logan's search warrant, but I also like to keep up with everybody here. Ryan Upchurch gave, yes, he did, and I believe he's asking for his donation back. Listen, there's some serious allegations against Jared from AWP. They are not, it's all alleged, but they are not to be taken lightly. They are, I mean, if anybody's read it, they're disturbing. To prey upon children is just, oof. It's an absolute no for me. It's for anybody. It's just, I have children. You have no shot with me, man. That's all I got to say. That is just, there's no there. That would be cool to see. I think it'd be interesting. It's just, I give 3 cases, or even take opinions on what case. We could do a little vote, and I spend a few days gathering the info and break it all down, from the crime scene to whatever. I think unsolved would be the best. I know that there's people out there that go over solved cases, but I don't think solved cases are that. I mean, they're interesting, but they're solved. But let's do unsolved cases. I think that would be great. Megan, I was shocked at how bad I got attacked for just speaking my mind, and that comes with 2.8 million followers, subscribers. A lot of people donated money. A lot of people were members. After they found Kali Rodney, they exploded, and they've imploded from within. And to be honest, I did a little digging. He is the sole owner of AWP, so nobody's taken that over. I don't believe he would allow that. And right now it was changed in June to a trust, a family trust. So nobody is going to be AWP except for him. I learned a lot, and you could learn it too. It's out there. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. There's people calling him, like, that were very close to him, calling him a lot of things, not only what he's been charged with. And they are alleged. I'll keep saying that because, it's just that way. Do you think Stephen Avery is innocent? Just curious. It's, I don't think so. I don't think so. There's a lot there. The cousin, the young, right, the young cousin or the young nephew, he might not have had anything to do with it. I believe he has he has some mental issues and stuff. Was he kind of reeled in by Stephen to, be involved, to maybe put it on somebody else? I gotta go back through that. I watched Netflix stuff. I did some research, but it was a while back. I don't believe Keegan has made a deal yet. They took the 5 charges off. Let's just say, if more charges come off that aren't just possession of CSAM, but other charges, then it'll be very interesting. Well, I know what you're saying. I believe in emails. The problem is he somewhat admitted, but he didn't. He admitted in a roundabout way. He didn't say what he did to that person, to the victim. So I have to say alleged, but I understand what you're saying. I do. And believe me, I took a lot of shit for writing that thing, and I shared it the other day because it bothered me. And then hearing this, it's like, man, I knew. And no, not that you're not going to know that person is involved with that stuff, but I could read people, and I saw a lot of fake behind him, a lot of fake, and nobody wanted to hear it, which is fine. But you can only hide your bullshit for so long, even online. You don't even have to be in the same room as a person. You could see it. Susan, I went to see Kylie's death was a tragic accident. I lived there for years. Lake Bowl is ever easy for windows to get broken. Body floats at first, could have floated. Yeah. I mean, the pressure of hitting the water could blow a window in a Honda CRV, you know, even if it, especially if it's cracked down a little bit and it took a hard impact, it could shatter, you know, people, you know, it's just, Susan, there's always going to be the conspiracy theory. And I just didn't see it. You know, I didn't see even the AWP story of the tow truck driver that seemed to me like they're putting this out there when law enforcement's in the middle of an investigation, but law enforcement's not even entertaining it. Told me a lot. Adventures with purpose, Peter. I'm trying to. I know there might be questions I'm missing. I'm trying to keep up, but we have to definitely jump into Ron Logan search warrant, where we'll be here all day answering questions, which I'm fine with, but then we don't get what I wanted to put out. If Ari was arrested at work at the CVS, wouldn't there be cameras at the store? I'd love to see him being arrested. Yeah, but we don't know where he was arrested. And at the end of the day, does it really matter? I mean, yeah, it's nice to see somebody get collared up, but they probably took him in his driveway. You know, that's the best way. Right in the house, or even a car stop, do a felony stop on somebody. Very safe for everybody involved. You know, get them to prone out on the pavement and walk up and do your thing. Yes, please tag me if you do have a question, because it's hard. We have 511 people. We're teetering over 500. It is very hard to keep up. I gotta actually open this. All right, let's dive into Ron Logan search warrant, okay? Because I wanna just get into this. And I know some are gonna say, oh, it's 5 years old. It's the most factual information that we have. It's very factual. Let me see what I want to put here. What do I want to read? Because we don't need to. We don't need to read the first page of his vehicle. Okay, so this is important. This is important. So they list his house, described as a white 2-story single-family dwelling, situated in the county of Carroll, in said state, including detached garage, outbuildings, a white Ford F-250 with the VIN. So it's basically saying his residence, every outbuilding, his garage, his vehicle. That's what needs to be in a search warrant. So anybody that says, "Oh, they didn't search his outbuildings," bullshit. It's right here. That's why I wanted. That's why I wanted to read this, because it's right here. Hey Tommy, not sure what you mean. Can I react to your content? You could throw a thumbs up. Sounds good. Background. On February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims, hereafter referred to as LG and AW, were taken to the Monon High Bridge Trail located in Delphi, Indiana. LG and AW were walking the trail in the area of County Road 300 North, 575 West, gives the latitude and longitude, at approximately 2:13 p.m., which was the last time contact with LG and AW by cellular device. The victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3 p.m., and the victims never met with a family member. Approximately 5:30 p.m., this is important, because remember there was said to be a ping at 2:30 a.m., right? That got law enforcement to ask the fire department to come back out, right? Well, why does this say something different? And I don't know if anybody's picked up on this. Approximately 5:30 p.m. was the last successful ping of the cellular phone by AT&T. It's very strange that and this is factual. So what happened with 2:30 a.m. on the 14th? A ping came in, and they requested the FD to come back out. Very weird that that's different, and very important, because I want to know the why. A suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of this suspect was made by a 43-second video taken on LG's phone. Now, that's why this is so factual. This is how we knew that there was only 43 seconds of a video and not 20 minutes or more. It was only 43 seconds. Near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victim saying, "Down the hill." It sounds as though he is directing the victims to leave the trail they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in LG's video, Liberty German's video. Therefore, it is believed that the person in LG's video participated in the killing. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15th, 2017, as a person of interest. LG and AW are presumed to have made contact with the unknown male at approximately 2:13 p.m. based upon analysis of Liberty German's phone, which recorded the video. On February 4, here you go. This is important. On February 14th, 2017, at approximately 12:17 p.m., so that's what time the girls were found, victims LG and AW were found dead with wounds caused by a sharp weapon on the property owned by Ronald Logan. A large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene. Because of the nature of the victim's wounds, it is nearly certain the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person clothing. The location of the crime scene is approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. That's almost 5 football fields. Okay? Think about it that way. 1,400 feet is almost 5 football fields. It's not like a rock throw from his house. That's the way it was portrayed, but it's not. Logan is a 77-year-old male. Logan's physical build is consistent with that of the male suspect videoed by LG on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Logan owns farmland and cares for large farm animals. So they're trying to make it seem that 77 years old, he's a strong old man. You know, he's not a 77-year-old man at heart. He's a 50-year-old with his strength. Nonsense. Logan appears to be in good physical condition. Logan has been interviewed several times. His voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. It was also discovered that I have the unredacted one. So the underwear and a sock of one of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was recovered. It also appeared the girls' bodies were moved and staged. Based upon my training and experience, it is common for perpetrators of this type of crime to take a souvenir in some fashion, memorialize the crime scene, whether by photos or electronic or digital methods that are then downloaded onto computers, storage devices, tablets, phones, iPad devices, or other electronic devices that store digital data for later viewing, scanning, or copying. So there's a reason that they feel that they needed to take every electronic device at Ron Logan's house. And it's not just because of, oh, there's probably a souvenir that they could have videotaped. There's a reason. And that's what I keep saying. Was there a tripod indentation in the ground? What the hell makes them feel pictures were taken? LG and AW had no visible signs of a struggle or fight. Tells me that they were, they were zip tied, their hands behind their back, handcuffed, duct taped. Possibly more or less, I would feel zip ties or duct tape, because not everybody has access to handcuffs. Kelt, there was a pair found, but there was also one taken from the crime scene. Logan, this is important. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. Logan owns, this is very important, because this tells me that a handgun was brandished at some point during the abduction. Something makes them feel a gun was shown. And we know Richard Allen had a concealed carry permit that expired when the rule changed, so that means he still concealed carries firearms. Logan owns numerous weapons, including handguns and knives, that were observed by LEOs, law enforcement officers, during the execution of a search warrant that took place at his home on March 6, 2017. But that was a totally different search warrant. It wasn't as thorough. You're going to hear that next. Logan's home was searched as a result of a probation violation. It was limited to the discovery of firearms and included only his main residence. So they had to check his house for firearms only. It wasn't, bringing a crime scene tech in, looking for blood or anything else. That was done on this one, the 17th. On February 14th at approximately 9:20 a.m., I'm not going to get into the alibi because people don't know his name and stuff, but his alibi crumbled. We know that. The alibi was interviewed and then came back a day later? Or was it 2 days later? I'm looking just quick when he came out. It was a couple days later that he was interviewed that he crumbled. He totally crumbled and came forward. All right, so let's go here. His, and a lot of this was pushed to create that, that it was Ron Logan, and it was just they wanted to give enough and even more. To me, they thought they were going to get a plug and play. They were going to write a search warrant affidavit, take a lot of this that's in here, and just plug it into an arrest affidavit, probable cause affidavit for his arrest. Never happened. Why? Nothing was found. There was no blood found. There was nothing found. Ron Logan did not kill the girls. And then they interviewed a couple women. And listen, I'm not taking away that Ron Logan was not the best guy in the world. And he had domestic violence issues. He had some violence towards some women and stuff like that. So I'm not dismissing that. But, drinking and getting into a physical altercation, domestic within your house is totally different than going on a bridge, grabbing two girls, abducting them, taking them to a kill zone, killing them, and go and eat lunch. It's a totally different crime. And and I'm not dismissing any of the stuff that he did, but it's just it doesn't make him a killer. Logan met with law enforcement officers on and about February 17, 2017, while they were on his property. Logan was physically able to get up and down the hill from his home to the crime scene. Now, if you've seen the media videos of him going up and down the hill, he's kind of walking sideways and making sure each step is done correctly. There's no way that man could have walked these girls to their death. I'm sorry, not alone. It's impossible. It's impossible. Oh, where's the one I want to go over? Because the one that just bothers me. Here. A call placed using Logan's cell phone, this is on February 13, 2017, produced cell tower data that shows Logan's cell phone appears to be in or around his property at 2:09 p.m. Although his exact location cannot be confirmed, the tower data shows that Logan's cell phone was in Delphi area, in the area of the Monon High Bridge Trail. Now, how the hell can, in the same moment, his phone be at his property, at his house, but also be on the bridge? Come on, it's insanity. It's insanity. Now, think about that. 5 football fields away. Now, they say, initial exam of this analysis of a cell phone data revealed a text message received at 10:16 p.m. places Ron Logan likely outside of his residence and in the proximity of where LG and AW's bodies were located. Now, if anybody there's only 2 cell phone towers, then your area of ping, instead of being a pinpoint, could be a circle. Let me do a circle like this, that here's his house in the middle, but he could be anywhere in that circle. And that's why they could say that. You're able to say it like that because of how large that is. So is Joe Lewis here? If he is, I don't know. I'm not sure. So think about that for a second. How in the hell could it be in both places? Now, Marv, if you see what I'm saying, having only 2 cell phone towers, you're not getting a perfect triangulation. If you have Find My, when I track my kids, because you got to watch your kids at all times. My kids are little, so they have phones, they have watches, Apple watches. Sometimes if they're in the bad area, right, instead of being a pinpoint at the house that they're at, where I know they are, you get a big ass circle above the house. So now, in a search warrant affidavit, you could basically say that person, legally, you could say that person is anywhere within that circle. That what makes it sound good. I mean, they wanted to beef this up, and I truly feel that that's why they were not at the press conference. They were stuck on one man and didn't come off him, and that created, I believe, havoc within. I feel the whole cell phone triangulation shit is bullshit, and they pushed it for a narrative. We're gonna hit 600. That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. And thank you all for dealing with my voice, and I'm happy I'm getting better, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to last over an hour. I had an hour and 26 minutes. Still going. On February 13th, LG's family began searching the area of the trail where Liberty German and Abigail Williams were initially dropped off, beginning shortly after 3 p.m. LG's family and other community members joined the search shortly thereafter. Carroll County Sheriff's Office was notified at 5:30 p.m. And people say, like, why'd the family wait so long? They didn't think there was going to be anything that took them somewhere else. Oh, good. I didn't see it, and that's good. Even Steve doing testing proves unreliable in the same area with cell phone pings and stuff. And there's more towers now. There was only 2 back then. To me, it's just bullshit, and I know Steve agrees. What just happened? It wasn't on bridge. RL GPS was by CPS building when we were there recently. I haven't plugged the longitude and latitude. I'm going off the facts here of what they gave. I don't see them saying anywhere they was at the CPS building. But I mean, I don't know if that's Marvin, do you think RL was involved? I don't. If you do, I get it. That's fine. But I don't feel the band was involved at all. If he was, it was minimal, and I still don't think he was. And if one day that changes, I got to eat crow, and I'll eat the crow. But I don't believe he was. The FBI has established a database for the collection and organization of tips provided by the public in this case. A search of that database, my dog's going crazy right now, has revealed 15 tips in which citizens, both known and anonymous, attributed the crime to Logan for various reasons. So out of thousands of tips, 15 came in on Ron. They're just building it up, and, the grape popped. It never happened. All right, so information to be searched and things to be seized, right? Based on the aforementioned facts, I believe there is probable cause to believe that Ronald Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on Ronald Logan's property. So listen to that closely. The affiant requested a warrant to search Ronald Logan's entire property, white 2-story single-family dwelling, included his detached garage, outbuildings, and vehicle, white Ford F-250, for evidence related to the murders of LG and AW for the following property. Any and all evidence pertaining to a murder, including clothing, forensic evidence, blood, seen and unseen, hair, bodily fluids, seen, unseen, fibers, weapons, including guns and cutting instruments, electronic devices used to produce the cellular signals detected by law enforcement in the area of the crime scene, animal hair samples. Animal hair samples. Very interesting. Computers, computer equipment, digital storage devices, tapes, cassettes, cartridges, streaming tape, commercial software and hardware, computer disks, flash drives, disk drives, monitors, computer printers, modems, tape drives, disks, application programs, data disks, system, disk operate, all electronic devices. Anything that could get a signal could store something, all of it has to go. Graphic interchange formats and/or photographs, undeveloped photographic film, slides, or other visual depictions of such graphic interchange format equipment, and the data stored within these materials, which has been used or may be used to store evidence of the crime, research ways to conceal a crime or destroy a crime scene. Remember who was searching about DNA? How long does it last? Records, documents, writing, and correspondence containing information about the crime scene, or any individual involved in the crime. Any and all tablets, phones, iPad devices, and any and all other electronic devices which may contain digital data. Why do they feel so strong there were pictures somewhere, videos somewhere? Why? Any and all computer data, including but not limited to photographs, videos, documents, emails, sound files, which may contain evidence of the violations of the criminal statutes listed at the beginning of this affidavit. Dated this 17th day of March 2017. So that is Ron Logan's search warrant for you. That is the most factual evidence that we know. Anybody that discredits it, sorry, but it's just ridiculously stupid. Ridiculously stupid, because it is factual. It tells a story. It tells you, the most factual stuff that we know as of now. Yes, we're at 590. We're gonna hit 600. Amazing, people. Thank you. I think you're saying you're definitely not. I'm not taking that you are, but hopefully you're not. I don't know. I just know that he bashes the family, and we just don't do that here. They get a vehicle parked in the back of the cemetery. That who? Ron Logan? We know that Pat had his vehicle parked in the back of the cemetery. Robert Allen walks just fine. I don't think a gun was used by it was used just as to gain control of them. I believe it was a very heavily bladed weapon, hatchet, machete. Could I be wrong? Could it be just a very sharp knife? That's possible too. Thanks, Purdue. I hope you're doing well. About to hit 600. 600. Yeah, they have more. What does that tell you? They have more cell towers now, and it's still inaccurate. Steve, you got to send it. You got to send me what you did, or the video that you did. I'd like to take a look. I just been sick, dude. Battling this. I'm sure you could hear it. It's been a disaster, but getting better. Getting better. Alexa canceled her appointment so she could stay and listen. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're still here. Does anybody want to come on? If anybody wants to come on, send me an email, analysisofthecrime@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. You can come on and hang out. If anybody's got questions or wants to just chat it up. A lot of cases get solved through, rats. They take the cheese, my man. They take the cheese, and it's loyalty goes out the window. That's just the way it is. One sec. Okay, I don't know what the comments are jumping around. Do you know if RA had a driver's license car at that time? Yeah, I believe he had a Dodge, had a Ram pickup at the time. I believe it was a 2009 Dodge Ram pickup. Amy, first time listener, thanks for being here. Please subscribe. Anybody that's new, I'm retired law enforcement from New York. Started in the NYPD in 2001. And I'm retired now. Home with my kitties. Oh, Alexa gave up a hair appointment to hang here. Pretty impressive. Very impressive. Patty, thanks for being here. So what questions does anybody have? Does anybody have questions? Anybody want to come up and talk a little bit? Send me an email. One sec. Just checking. Okay, so I'm happy we got through Ron Logan's search warrant. Hybrid, thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. That's awesome of you. Their super chats are always appreciated. That's awesome. Do you think they got Richard Allen? Well, yeah. He's in state's custody now because the county was scared to hold him. But yeah, if you're asking, do I think he is the sole lone wolf killer? I don't, and that's because of the case still being open. They're leaving it open for a reason, And what is that reason? We just don't know. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, and he's the sole killer, I'll own it one day. I just don't feel that way, and that's just it. My interest is DNA. Maybe they have open cases with unknown male DNA, and now they have a match. That could be possible. I just don't see him as a serial killer. That's just my opinion. Look at his letter to the court yesterday. There's a lot of fear there. There is a lot of fear in that letter. So we'll see soon enough. CD, will we know if KK was charged with involvement in the murder? Could they hide that? I think that if Keegan gets charged, is ever charged, we're gonna know. I don't think that would be kept hidden. We're gonna know. If you had to bet money on if he was alone, which way would you bet? If you're talking about Richard Allen, I bet against that. And that's just my opinion. Steve's retired law enforcement. He might feel a different way. If he's here and he wants to say, that's fine. But I don't feel that way. I feel there's just more to come. In the 68 months since murders, has anyone been convicted of any crime in relation to Anthony Shots? We don't know. We know how many CSAM cases have been taking place. We know that some have been said to have other stuff, on it too. But we just don't know. We don't know. There could be more to it. Just give me 1 sec. I'm just going to just got to fix one thing. 1 sec. Sorry, had to move because wife's home for lunch. So I had to move because so she could do her thing and not have noise in the backgrounds. Kel, I don't know if people are saying stuff in the chat. I'm not bashing all of them. I know that a lot of them are resigned since news came to the forefront. So I'm not bashing all of them. That's not for me to do. I just don't like how the Kylie Rodney case was handled. That's just my opinion. You could feel differently. That's cool. I just saw things that just gave me just showed me a lot. Hey Peter, well think about Keegan's case and how long that's going on and on and on. I mean, it just keeps going. If they're going with the whole speedy trial, will March hold? I don't think so. I think it's gonna be longer than that, but we'll see. There could be Megan. There absolutely could be denial involved. That's highly possible. Highly possible. Highly possible stuff. Listen, you never want to believe that your loved one could be involved in something like this. Well, one sec. I gotta open the door. One sec. Sorry, I don't want to kill the vibe. Sorry, I just I'd open the door. I have a hard time believing that one guy could get these girls that far away by himself. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's hard. True Crime Web. I got to definitely check it out. So you came up with the same, where everything was just you're not getting accurate data. Makes sense. And that just makes what I'm saying about the search warrant even that much stronger, and how big that area could be that they're going by. If you look at the two charges of murder against Richard Allen and go to sub 2, it's attached to murder along with kidnapping, Csam, abduction. I read them the other day. Let me see. I'll pull it up again. Let me pull it up again. Okay. 35-42-1-2. A person who kills another human being while committing or attempting to commit arson, burglary, child, ing, consumer product tampering, criminal deviant conduct under 35-42-42 before its repeal, kidnapping, RAP, robbery, human trafficking, promotion of human trafficking, sexual trafficking of a minor, or carjacking before its repeal. So that tells you, what could have also been occurring at that location. That's pretty funny. Don King here. Teresa, is there any proof of those rumors, though? I didn't see what Teresa was saying. Any rumors? It is hard to keep up with this chat. Tech Death, how are you, man? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, dude, my room's a mess at the moment. I'm doing stuff in there, so I'm not going in there. I'm in my daughter's. It's like a desk area with a bed above. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm hiding down here, man. Fritzy, new to the channel, really great info. Is the running theory of the murder had something to do with snuff film? Sorry, I'm trying to play catch up. Well, I know that possibility is said over and over again, but I think it fits more in the what I was just reading, the crimes that could be attached to it. Wow, this chat is flying. Yeah, it's a creepy video of Richard Allen dancing. You know, he he has some crazy eyes to him. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's even in his pictures that he shows that like the dead eyes, the dead soul eyes. I don't know if anybody picked up on that, but his eyes are a little creepy. An AWP spokeswoman took all the credit for finding KR while denouncing the sheriff. Bad form. Pride before the fall. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not knocking, everybody that worked there. A lot of them for volunteers that weren't paid. There was one man getting paid heavily there. So I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. So I hope that you're not taking it that way. Um, well, we don't even know if I mean I think he had an alcohol problem. We don't know if she did. I mean, people party. I mean, people have a good time, drinking. It doesn't make them full blown alcoholic, but it's possible. It is possible. I just told you what I felt. Staging was done to just throw a wrench in the crime scene, just like could have been just done to be a what the f moment, you know. And staging could be posing them as alive. We don't know, but that's that could be something. Thanks for being here, PJ. Appreciate it. I don't think he has. That's just my opinion. I don't think Ari has committed a murder before. I think this is the first one. Yeah, you don't have to prove motive. No, you don't. Sometimes you never know what it is. I do think that we know some of what's involved here. Oh, I feel 100% that they were, they were the target. And could that come into play that Keegan had something to do with it? Why, since Anthony Shots was announced, was it attached to the tip line? There's reasons for everything. Got to read between the lines sometimes because they don't want to give too much. See through. They could always add charges later. There could be other charges coming. They could always add charges later. I mean, if you listen to Carter, how he said when he was asked about the probable cause affidavit, he said, "I read it twice, and a judge feels that it was strong enough to sign." That was an interesting statement. There's a lot of interesting things that have been said over the last 5 years, 9 months. A lot of strange things. Courtney says, "Do you think he went there to kill?" Thanks. Yeah, I feel that there was a lot involved there, but he had his weapon. He or they had their weapon. You know, I don't feel that he's the lone wolf killer. I just don't. I would think a predator would kidnap the girls, take them somewhere where they could do whatever they wanted to do without the risk of hikers showing up. Yeah, and that's why you cross the creek, take them into that sunken in land there, where it's very hard to see from almost four sides, and you know, do what you went there to do. It's tragic. It's terrible. It's horrifying. Anthony, well, you're free for this long, not thinking you're going to get caught. You know, and when you charge a murder, the retainer is astronomical. They could be asking for 50 or 100,000 up front. You know, and if you don't have it, where are you pulling it from? You know, just a felony charge in New York from a good attorney, the retainer could be 15 or 20,000. That's not murder, just any felony. So that it does make sense. Oh, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible that he kept. I feel that shed has a lot to do with it. That was his outside, and that was his outside area. That was his. Nobody else accessed that. You know. My opinion, if fellow neighbor targets, there has to be others involved. Girls went to trails at the last minute when they had transportation. Yeah, but we know that they asked like up to like an hour and a half before to Kelsey. We just don't know how long they plan to go there. We don't know, But remember, Anthony Schatz, Kegan Kline knew they were going there. He did speak to them that day. And then you go back to the fight inside. To me, it was a fight over who had control of the Anthony Schatz account inside Keegan's house, the two devices, one signing in, the other one signing out over and over again. Tells you a lot. Peter, I don't believe that they have the murder weapon, but that's just my opinion. That could have changed at Richard Allen's house, though, but I didn't feel it before that. I still kind of don't. Yes, it is, but there's only been two charges. Not only there are two charges of murder against him. There's been no other charges filed yet, but they could come. Yep, 100% could fall into the fantasy. Staging the bodies. 77 Sunset says the judge signs the arrest affidavit and recuses himself from the case. Yeah, the case seemed to be too much for him. Hey, Mel, what's up? Mel said, "How are you? I'm hanging in there, getting better. I'm getting sick of the crap about him being charged an accomplice under now. Well, like I don't know where they're getting that from. They got to read. They got to read the subdivision again. I think what they're going on is the felony murder charge of committing a crime and then someone dies within that crime, not being murdered. Like, somebody goes in to rob a bank with a gun, man drops dead from a heart attack, you get charged with felony murder. I think that might be what they're going with. I'm not sure. I have not seen too much on it though, but I'm sure it's out there. Sure, it's out there. Killing people doesn't like that the bodies fall right together. Like, gotta move at least one, even simply to hide them together. Well, to complete staging, you're gonna move them to complete what you're looking to do. Yeah, I mean, I do think that this possibly could be a death penalty case unless you get the person arrested to give you everything, whatever everything includes, which would be a lot. Thanks, Rodzilla. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. Try to keep up on the chat on my phone on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, you get, Mel, you get people that are saying crazy stuff. I mean, you got the one guy still going with the video. People are new here, are asking about the video. Where's their video being taken underneath the bridge? The nonsense that's out there. But you got to stop. People's got to stop watching them. If you stop watching them, then it ends. But you give them a voice, they'll just keep going and fester. Well, so JM's asking about Kegan Kline and why it took 3 years to arrest him. Everything went to Carroll County because of it being attached to the Delphi case. They never forwarded the data from the crime, the analysis that they got off of all of his devices to Miami County for prosecution. And that's a big mess up. ISP said it after it was announced. They took credit. They took not credit, but they apologized for it, and said that it wasn't done on purpose, but they would be doing like internal investigation, and it would be better going forward. And it happens. It just one prosecutor's office didn't forward to the other prosecutor's office. That's why the lie was happening, where he was fully living in Vegas for years. We know that was a lie. So there's a lot there. Hypothetical: if Ari turned himself in as a witness and a witness reported seeing him, what did he say he was wearing? Did they never show his picture? Oh, we just don't know, Courtney. We don't know. I do think that he was interviewed and whatnot. I just don't know the extent, and maybe we'll get that in the affidavit. That might be one of the initial paragraphs that we're going to get out of that. Do you think one of Keegan's CSIP charges him talking to Liberty? If she sent pictures or anything, that could highly be likely. Yeah, highly likely if she sent pictures. Gonna break 600 in chat again. Pretty impressive. Thank you all for being here. If you hear it, the voice is starting to go, so I probably got about 10 more minutes left. I'm starting to crackle here a little bit. But who's got questions? Send me a question. What do you got? Tell me what you have. Any questions? Let me know. Bad Mom says, what's your take on the bogus sketches? I don't think they're bogus. I talked about them earlier, that in order to get a sketch, you have to have a witness see the person, get a photographic memory of what they just saw, and now they have to relay that to an artist who has to draw it. So, it's never going to be exact. I mean, if you look at some of the killers that have been caught in the past and their sketches, some of them are horrifying. But you're going to get some resemblance. You're never going to get the full way, Internet is a dangerous place for kids. Yeah, it's a dangerous place for adults too. You got to be careful. But yeah, everybody should know what their kids are doing online. You got to, whenever you feel it's the right time, have the talk with your kids. You got to protect your children online. There's too many animals, predators preying on kids. You have to be careful. Ski mask incident from Anthony Schott's profile. Remember the 194 pager? They said that's how they found Keegan, was from that incident. But we know it was the FBI found them through other pieces. So, not everything that they said was right, but you never know. Can interrogators lie to the subject they are interrogating? Yes, you can. But remember, you're only going to get value lying to the person you're interrogating when they don't know what you know. If the question you're asking them they know is bullshit that you're pressing on them, then you're losing credibility with that person. You don't want to lose credibility during interrogation. You want them to think you have them, but you don't want them to know you're bullshitting, if that makes sense. There's certain things you're going to lie about, but there's other things that you're not, because if you lose credibility, they know they have you. Career criminals are good. They listen to every word you say, and they try and manipulate. And Keegan did a lot of manipulating in there. He tried. I know people think that he had them, but they were playing him pretty good too. Yes, we don't know exactly height, weight on the ski mask guy. We just know he was there. We know he was there, and that was 1 week after the murders on February 20th. And remember who went away on the 21st? Keegan and Daddy. They not escaped, but they bounced out pretty quick and headed to Vegas, 21st to 25th, getting back from Vegas, and search warrant at the house. I heard Ari was under suicide watch in jail right now. Do people under that type of surveillance get access to Chirp and commissary? I'm sure he's getting access to some things. He's being checked every 15 minutes, and I'm sure he's on a live video feed to be watched. They don't want an Epstein incident to occur with this guy. Think of that disaster that caused, Epstein being able to off himself. Yes, from what they did say, it did. And that's the whole thing. Is are you going to lie about that to Keegan and say the reason we have you is the ski mask incident? Are you going to lie when he knows he has nothing to do with that? That's what I'm saying. You have to gain credibility during your interrogation. If you lose the person you're interrogating by bullshitting, they got you. They know. Do you think RA knew they were coming for him? No. I think that the search warrant was very unexpected, and the arrest, he knew was coming, I'm sure. But the search warrant on the 13th of October, no, he probably had no idea. You think a ring of petties could have known who the killer was? Bogey, it's possible. Also could be possible that a ring was involved. Melanie Gim, first time I've ever seen your channel. It just popped in my feed. I'm deeply curious about this case. Please like and subscribe. This is Delphi Murders is a case I focus on, but I'm going to start doing members thing. And I asked before about, everybody giving me a few different cases, and I pick one and we go over it week to week. But mostly we focus on Delphi for now. We're going to add the floor fire in too, because I have a lot to say on that. Tech, that's scary stuff. You need to have that conversation. If you got to get something in writing with attorneys, do it. Do it. Make sure your kid's protected, man. You see what's out there, man. That's important, very important. But see what person first sketch at a crime scene. Man with two girls. Who and where did this witness see the sketch of a random guy on the trail? Yeah, we just know it as a random guy on the trail. We do not. There was no confirmation that a witness saw the suspect bridge guy with the girls at the same time. Never been said. Did KK Grass? I don't know. I think you're saying did KK rat on Richard or his wife or get him other way. Let's just say that there were other yards and fire pits that were dug up weeks before they went to Richard Allen's house. That should tell you the story that I'm feeling hard. Yeah, please like and subscribe. We're at 6:05. Wow, amazing. Hi, new here. Do you know why the dark web can't be shut down? Thank you. Well, it's just that. It's the dark web. I'm not a developer or a web guy, but I believe it's just intertwined and there's no way to stop it. You were told, bloke says, I got told to leave Keegan alone for mentioning river search the other day. Who told you that? Tell him to come here and say it. And that just doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. His name is still, Anthony Schatz himself are still attached to this case. Why? If it was over, they had their guy, why would it still be attached? It just doesn't make sense. That's for somebody to tell you to leave him alone. Would the wife be posting these videos on Facebook if she knew? No, she wouldn't. I'm not saying she doesn't know, but could she have, kept looking at that picture and saying to herself, man, that's close, but my husband would never do that? It's possible. If someone turned in Ari, wouldn't they get the reward? Since Ari is now charged with murder. Yeah, definitely. But who turned him in? How did they get there? I think they got there from other means, from other interviews, interrogations, / digging up yards. I think that's what got them there. No, it's not far. True Crime Housewife says, I know it's far-fetched, but I dreamed they were zip tied. No, I've been saying this for a year. That's to take two girls, two of anybody, abduct them and take control of them. It's very hard unless you do things to gain control. So zip tying, duct taping their hands, duct taping their mouth, you're gaining control. They're going to comply much easier. So it's not far-fetched. We said that already. Old guy sketch was said to, yes, I talked about this earlier. Yeah, no, I said this thing last week about where the sketches came from, and then over the years, there's been just clouded information on them, which is bizarre, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, 10 years ago, there were a couple too. Young America, Indiana. I'm trying to keep up with the comments, ladies and gents, but it is very hard. Thanks, Book. I appreciate that. I try to, dude, I'm as real as I could be. This is who I am in real life. You gotta be who you are, man. Don said Epstein offs himself. Laughable. I hear you. That's just what we know. That's just what we know, but not. The two guys went for coffee. They were supposed to be watching them. The video didn't work. The feed, a lot there. Evansdale would be a good case for new membership. Jessica, I like that. Evansdale is important. That's not solved. There's a lot there. I know a lot of people said, are the two attached? I don't think so. Just how the girls were taken and her pocketbook was left on the fence. I think that tells a lot. The abductor killers went to make sure that they got rid of that bag. That bag had a cell phone in it that could have been pinged. It's possible, and I think that's why that was left up there. Nobody talks about that, but I think that purse has a lot to do with Evansdale case. How would that person? That's what I say. Like that person know if they had a phone, you know. One sec, I'm just moving to my area. We have 602 people. Don't leave because we still got more to go over. And I see we have 260 likes. We gotta get more likes. 1 minute, not even. Don't leave. And I'm back. Let me tell you, I was scrunching my neck for all of you. I had to move because my wife came home for lunch, and she doesn't like really hearing the talk of this when she's leaving to go back to work because she gets nervous. So you know how it is, and I get it. I think hacker Alex Voorhees gave the FBI lots of valuable names leading LA to RA. The timing is perfect. It always could be possible. I mean, I don't believe he put anything up on that, but Mod Squad says, "Hey CD, hey Mod Squad, how are you? Hope you're doing well." And I saw Alexa said something about Long Island serial killer. I'm going to take a ride out there one day and maybe go live from the beach and just talk about it, walk around there a little bit. I think it would be interesting. Long Island serial killer is interesting case. My Delphi docs live, my first one I ever did, was a weird one. Had a call in that people thought was affiliated with the Long Island serial killer. So definitely listen to that episode. It's on the Delphi Docs subreddit. It's also in my videos. It says Delphi Docs. It says episode 1. And like maybe 20, 30 minutes in, I got a call in, and it was just strange. And you see my Malinois in the background. She's there. But yeah, it was a strange caller, and people were like, that maybe he's involved, because we're talking Delphi, and he wanted to go right into Long Island serial killer. It was very strange. And he was from New York. He was living, I believe, in Queens. It was interesting stuff. Hey, Alicia, I hope you're doing well. Do you think the PC will be unsealed on 11/22? I do. I think it's going to be hard keeping it sealed after that. Oh, they will. Richard Allen. They will check his DNA. I just don't think it's going to come back on another murder. Just my opinion, but I just don't feel that. We use Dropbox here in Canada to deliver papers and tests to professors. Yeah, Dropbox is listen, when it's used correctly, it's an asset. When it's used for what it was being used for, then it's totally different. You know, that's just the way it is, and it just depends. You know, when you're a criminal using it for deviant behavior, it's, you know, horrifying. But as I said from the announcement, I called it Pandora's box, and I was right on target, because that's exactly what that was. Smash the likes, smash those likes. Bismo, you got to go back in and undo the bell, and then do the bell again to alert you. Sometimes that happens, and I didn't get notified for Sleuth Live last night. If Dee didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known he was live. So it just depends. Fritzy, great show, great atmosphere. Us users are liking the New York feel. I'm glad you do. Listen, New Yorkers, we're real people, man. We keep it real. There's no time for bullshit in New York. We're real. Yes, smash it, smash it. We blasted through 600 twice. It's impressive. I'm trying to catch up, but it's hard. Yeah, Long Island serial killer is a crazy case. I think it would be very interesting if I go there and walk the beach, do it live. You know, it's pretty close to me. Get there within, no traffic, 35 minutes. I think people would definitely enjoy that. AWP came to my town where I live in southern Oklahoma to help with Molly Miller and Colt Aim last year. Kids are missing 9 years now. That's terrible. That's tough, man. It's very scary stuff and we have to do a better job all around at protecting our children, man. There's too many animals that are there. Verbal judo. I love the name change. If anybody doesn't know why Verbal Judo's name is that way, maybe she'll tell you. Please like, share, subscribe. Got a lot coming on this week. Got a lot to talk about. What other questions does anybody have? Do you believe more people involved, just not physically? Do you really feel that way, Anthony? I don't know. Steph, I'm glad she's home. That's amazing. That's amazing stuff. The name of the video with Long Island. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely the person. It just was a little weird, and people kept, I got messages on Reddit while I was doing the Red Talk Live. Red Talk Live is basically, I think 30 people could be within, and you can raise your hand, ask questions. You raise your hand, I click on you, you come on, you can ask questions. It's very cool. But I uploaded it to here. So if you go into my videos, you'll see it'll say Red Talk Live episode 1, Delphi murders, and it's in there. You'll hear it. I think it was like within 20 minutes he came on. It was interesting stuff. And when somebody said, could that be the serial killer? You never know. I mean, listen, you don't know. You do not know who the Long Island serial killer is. It was very weird how we're talking Delphi, and this guy came on and knew I was from New York. He thought I was from Long Island, so he wanted to go right into the Long Island serial killer. It was interesting. Very interesting. I'm sorry she's crawling up the stairs, but I get it. You know, when I was, I think I was 3 turning 4, it was around Christmas time. And I remember I was in preschool. I was very bummed out because I woke up and I had a virus that made from my hip down, I don't remember if it was a left leg or right leg, I couldn't walk. And it went on for like almost a week. I remember my mom took me to the preschool and all the kids like came out to the car and like gave cards and stuff. But it went on for a week and they didn't know like what was gonna. They just didn't know what the hell happened to me. It was like 1983, I guess, and it was pretty scary. So I could understand that to a point, not what you're going through, but it was some scary stuff. I could not use my leg, and then it just went away. It was some kind of weird virus. Think Ellie would be incompetent to clear someone who was there. I think that the reason law enforcement isn't clearing anybody is just because there's no reason to. At this point, what are they gaining from saying such and such is cleared, such and such is clear? There's no reason as of now. Yes, leave a DNA on your own like button at your house or on your device. Please do. We got a lot more to come. Streamer. I think tax cuts called. Maybe I don't know if you're talking to me or just streamer is a person. Have you heard the Howard Stern serial killer call? I have, and it is weird. Very weird stuff. Yeah, could he just be a psycho saying it? It's possible. You know, I don't think anything's ever come from it, but it is a very strange call. Well, Irene, it depends what they found. If they found maybe some kind of little cylinder that housed like micro USB cards or something with pictures on it, could be possible. We just don't know. Yeah, well, we did. I know Georgia Bureau investigation was involved for a little bit. We don't know what came of it. Listen, I talked about this on the last live, how we had Liggett, who was one sheriff, who was running for sheriff. He had the debate. It was a few weeks ago, and he basically said, I'm the only guy, basically for Carroll County, that works on this full time, and I'm doing the best I can. And not 10 days later, they have an arrest. So that tells me something changed real quick because Becky Patty was there, and Becky Patty was asking questions, on to the guy who was running against him. That was a Lafayette detective, and it was just a very interesting exchange. Definitely something that you should look at and see what you think. I thought it was very interesting, and it just it told a story. But 10 days later, they have a man arrested for 2 counts of murder. So it's saying that something did pop up. Something definitely popped up. But will we ever see the video of KK questioning? It's hard to say. Very hard to say. It was recorded, but very hard to say if we will. David explained that we identified all the rich guy. He's no longer pure like comment, followed later by the 2 sketches. Same guy. Yeah, I actually shared that in the community post about the information, how mixed signal it was. Yeah, we don't know if it was. I mean, it was a very strange call. I mean, the way he was just talking about like killing people and like it was nothing. But we just don't know how factual it is. Tommy DTV, the fact that they aren't revealing anything is troubling. Well, it's troubling to an extent. It's telling more than troubling to me. It tells the story of what else is there. Where else is this going? There's a lot more to play in this, and I think people are gonna be very surprised. DR Piper came across this live by chance. Subscribe. You're well spoken, clearly knowledgeable. It's refreshing after seeing so many wannabe bandwagon crime channels out there. Thank you. I'm retired law enforcement from New York. That may be why, got to swim through the bullshit to find the real ones. I'm kidding, but that's true. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Anybody that's new, please like, subscribe. It's appreciated. Channel's growing. It is growing. Let's see. What are we at today? We just broke 2,000 the other day, and we are now at 2231. Man, I appreciate it. That's amazing. That is so amazing. Bridge is crazy high, and those girls should never have been allowed to walk it in the first place. Amy, I agree. You know, I think the problem is there's just not much to do in Delphi. And it did sound like it was a regular occurrence that the girls, Kelsey, would go out there with Libby. They would take pictures, they would do stuff. So I get it. I mean, it is a horrifying looking bridge, but this is middle of America where this is a day out for them. This is there isn't a lot going on. It was February, so a nice day in February, and a lot of people talk about, oh, it was so it was so cold that day when people said it was relatively that was unseasonably warm because it was a warmer day. I don't know if you're from the cold or not. I'm in New York. February, we could have nights that's -5. You get a cold front for 2 weeks and it's 10 degrees, and with the wind chill, it's freezing below that. When you get a 40-degree day, I could go outside in a very thin long sleeve shirt and be totally fine, 38, 40 degrees. So you do get used to the very cold, and when it warms up in a shocking day, you could go out as long as you're moving around. You could be in a very thin long sleeve shirt and not need a jacket. So sees through asks, do I think they will link Alan to the Dropbox? Yeah, I like that question. And I believe the Dropbox has a lot to play with a lot that's going on. And we're gonna get more. I do feel we are gonna get more. You know. The sketch of the Long Island serial killer it is a weird looking sketch, and I get what you're saying, that it looks like of Asian descent. You know, the I believe the witness saw that person very late at night, so features are going to be much darker. So I do think that that's why it looks like that. But I mean, it's possible. Yeah, I know it is a crazy mystery. Hey, Electra, thanks for being here. No, listen, all questions are good questions. That's why they're questions, and we want answers. They did find a relatively up to a day old cigarette in the water, and they bagged and tagged it. So it was taken as evidence. Why not release the entire 43-second video? Well, because there was nothing else to gain from it. Because of how pixelated it was, there's probably nothing else there that's going to give the public. There's no reason to give the public more if it's not going to benefit the case, if that makes sense to you. You're going to give only what's important to get information back. Now, Scrum, have you found out if RA was part of the search team? I haven't. I actually have a lot of the pictures of the search sign in, but I am missing a bunch of pages, and he is not on the pages that I've seen. So you can take that for what you may, but he absolutely could have been involved in the search, being that close. And let's just say I talked about on Sleuth Live last night. I was sent the picture of Becky Patty's sister in a bar with Richard Allen's wife. And it's not like, it doesn't look to me like an acquaintance at how close they are hugging. It looks more than that. So could that explain some of the exhaustion that we saw at the presser from the family? How drained they looked. That's possible, but there could be more. Oh, thanks, Steffa. CD is kind of a big deal. I'm just a man doing my thing. Just trying to be here. I'm happy. Listen, I'm kind of a big deal because of all of you. It's not because of me. What I found interesting about that RA note was that he did graduate high school, and yet he made errors in that note and used very, very basic verbiage. Well, Kim, you got to remember, he's horrified. You saw that, putting, he's at the mercy of the court. He's horrified. He never thought that this day was going to come. So, it is what it is. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff with the the Nassau County Police with Long Island serial killer and Suffolk County too involved. There was a lot of weird stuff. There was. A lot of people tried to say it was the chief at the time. Could it be? I mean, it's possible. There's a lot of weird things there. There is. There's a lot of weird things in that whole case. I think it's something we should cover, and it'll be fun. You think BG had binoculars? Yeah, it's possible. If he did or didn't, what does it matter? Not saying towards your question, but just in general. I do think that he was hunting for them. He was waiting for the right time to get them on the bridge where they're vulnerable, and that's where he came at them. And that 43-second video is him closing in as quick as possible, and Libby knew something was wrong, and that's why she picked up her phone and started recording. She knew that there was something going horribly wrong at that moment. The U.S. Marshals would get him and look suspicious to wife. Luckily, he didn't off himself. The U.S. Marshals are one of the best at apprehending, criminals, along with digital data and stuff like that. That's why they're involved. And I'm telling you, it's telling that the FBI was not there. It's very telling. Very telling that they were not at the presser. I just wonder if they will ever tear down that bridge of this case because of this case. No, I mean, it's a historical bridge. It's a historical rail. I don't believe so. I do think they need to make it safer. Devoted to Mariah, thank you. I just found and subscribed. Do you think KK and TK helped RA? Can they find evidence to get TK? Just been thinking since the arrest. If you later after it's over, if you watch the beginning, I go into detail in a lot of this. I do think that there's much more to this story, and I do think that we're going to find out much more on Keegan and company. The bridge is scary, but I would have walked it when I was 14. Yeah, I mean, most 14-year-olds would because you feel invincible. As soon as you get a little older, you're like, holy shit. When you look over the side of that, you're going to think twice then. But as a kid, no, you're gonna do it. I thought they'd raise money to fix the bridge. They did, and I think that's why some of the walking paths have been paved and stuff. Some of the locals, Frank Meister and them, they could talk more, I'm sure, on what's going on with that. I don't know why they haven't put new wood down. At least I'm not really sure. I think they got money from the government too, a few $1 million or something. I don't really know. I don't know what's taking so long. Make it safe. Yeah, we could do that. Check that. Send me an email. I'll if I can remember to do that. Doesn't it seem like we would have a closer view of Bridge Guy's face when he approaches close enough? Rockways, I think that's what it is. I think that what we got is the best part of the video, and the rest is her. Maybe she was recording the floor. Libby was very smart. She knew something was wrong and got the best that she could with the technology that was available then. If it was today with an iPhone 14 Pro, that the forward-facing camera would have been a lot better. But we got what we got. I talked about this last night and about RA's family knowing Anna Williams. What I said was, if this ends up ever being a lone wolf killer and Richard Allen is the only killer, the only person involved, was he out at Anna Williams' restaurant that she worked at, and Abby came in to get food or money from her mom, and an infatuation grew from there? That could be possible if it ends up being a sole killer. That's the only way I feel that plays. Yeah. Can you repeat that? Who was seen in the pic with Ari's wife? Becky Patty's sister. And that was it's known. It's not. I'm not just spreading it around. I'm not the first person to say it. It was sent to me after. It was sent to me, and then after that, a lot of people have seen it. So it's not me just putting it out there. It is out there. I don't just put a lot of things out there, but it's something that a lot of people know now. Exactly. the phone was put down and whatnot. I saw you in an earlier podcast and you mentioned someone with TT initials. I'm not sure who that is. That is Kegan Kline's cousin, Trexler. Yeah, I'm sucking wind. We appreciate you, especially powering through illness. Miss Doglover, let me tell you, I'm thankful it was only me that got it in the house. But this has been a rough. It's like 3 weeks now, and I'm on pretty strong prednisone from 2 days ago. After doing a whole 5 day of the other steroid pack, it's just this has been brutal. But I'm battling through. I'm getting better. I every day I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be 100%. I'm not there yet, but hopefully soon. Becky is Libby's grandma, who is also she had custody of Libby also. Yeah, but I mean, absolutely, the whole video would be played in court. You know. Well, someone's saying, think about it. I talked about this on Sleuth's live last night too. Someone's saying about like throwing themselves at the mercy of the court. It's a oh my god moment for them. Like they never thought this was coming. So what is that? What else is in there that we're gonna find out? I think a lot. Interesting. I don't know what that's to. I'm 5 minutes behind. I'm trying to keep up. CC, Mr. Ruffalo, how do you feel about his wife? Um, you know, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I've learned that from years of policing is that don't judge a book by its cover. But I do read people very well. Could she have had an inkling? Possibly. I don't think she was hiding him from everybody else of knowing, but you know that could change. I just like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I know she was getting attacked as soon as Richard Allen's name came out, and that's just not okay. Let's not do that. I think he's going through it. He is detoxing. He'll talk longer. He's in there. Oh, talking about Richard. Yeah, I mean possibly. Alcohol withdrawals are some scary stuff. They are. My dog's holding something she's not supposed to. It sounded like plastic. Come here. We got the dogs. What do you got? The baby's toy. Come here. Come. Let me see. Here. What do you got? She's got something she's not supposed to. Mark Ruffalo. That's so funny. That is so funny. Give me that. What is this? Open. Los. Thank you. She's eating plastic. Dog's eating plastic, everybody. It's a good question. We do see him with the like khaki kind of cargo pants, and just look at the length. He's short. He's maybe a 28-inch length, and he's wearing like a 32. That's why you're getting like that 4 inches of bunching up at the bottom of his pants. So even if he's not wearing jeans, his pants are still telling. Sorry, gross. You gotta give me that. 1 second. Dog's eating something. I gotta get it. Sorry, dog was eating like a gobstopper from Halloween. Don't analyze Carter's words too hard. It's like reading tea leaves. Well, Carter does leave a lot. He does leave a lot of info there. You just got to sift through, because there's a lot going on with his words. But yeah, you can always find things in between. Hey, Digital, how are you? Carter's to Delphi as Yoda is to Star Wars. I like that. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Keegan's phone pinged at Trexler's house. That's his cousin. Yes, it did. Trying to catch up on the chat. He said, vitamin D, zinc, quercetin. Even when you feel better, keep resting anyways for another month. It's harder. I know. This has just been crazy. I mean, I've never, had something lingering on this long. And this is it. This is my third time having it, so I think that might be an issue. I don't really know, but it's just been festering. It's just nonsense. It's insane. And doing my best to beat it. But I'm just happy I'm the only one that has it and didn't affect my wife or kids. What made RA so confident he was going to be able to murder 2 girls in broad daylight and never get caught? Did he do it alone? We know there was more going on as the charge he's charged with. There was, kidnapping. There were clothes taken off. You could just, the abduction on the bridge. Think of the abduction on the bridge to getting them to where, they were murdered. I do, but I don't want to say it. It's out there. I just don't. There's certain things I don't do, and I hope you understand that. And it's not me being a jerk. It's just I have 548 people in the chat. I don't want 548 people going to her Facebook and saying things to her. I hope you can understand that. Frank Meister's canine could open the door and go visit the neighbor. Yeah, my dog can do that too, but she would grab the neighbor's landscaper's arm, thinking that the landscaper's going to hurt me. That was last week. If you heard my dog during the live, she was growling because the landscaper was a little too close to the property line, and in her eyes, that person's coming to hurt me, which is funny, but also, listen, she's an amazing dog, Belgian Malinois, purebred from Europe, and her grandparents are grand champions. She's a protection dog. She's not, the dog you're going to go throw the frisbee with 100 people around. That's not it. There's one pic of RA and his wife, and she's wearing a camo hat. And I want to see Frank Meister's dog get a beer. Then I'll be impressed. And I'm sure he could teach the dog that. There's one pic of RA and his wife, and she's wearing a camo hat. To me, it kind of looks like one BG is wearing the video Libby took. You think he's wearing that hat? I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be a possible, same hat kind of thing, the way it's smushed in the front. I mean, yeah, it could be possible, my kids will put my hat on. My wife would never, but that to each his own, Some will wear hats, but, could be. Or was he out looking for a victim and needed the perfect place and time to attack? No, I don't believe this was the perfect crime. The 2 girls just showed up there, and Captain, what's his name? Captain from the PIO office. Captain, tell you, sometimes your mind gets the best of you, and that's today. Captain Burston, Dave Burston, talked about it at the first presser after the girls' presser when they were found on the 22nd of February. How he speaks about could this be a chance encounter? It's possible, but there you go. Oh, I mean, a park ranger can absolutely give you a summons. Yeah, Thanks, Sassy. I'm getting there. I'm battling, but I'm getting there. Thank you. I believe it was all premeditated. I believe there's more to the story, that the girls were, you know, were meant to go there and be found by Richard Allen and possibly company. Jam, I had a bad sinus infection that lasted for a month. The only thing that got it to finally go away was bad. Yeah, the doctors. This is not. This is all viral. You know, especially the way everything was swelled up Friday. You know, there was nothing to show that it was you know, it was bacteria infection. That's kind of why. But let me tell you something. I've been on a lot of steroids, and they could kick your ass, and they mess with your sleeping. It's like you fall asleep, and I think you wake up 5 minutes later, and you're like, man, did I sleep an hour? And it was only 5 minutes. It's pretty tough. Very tough. My 24-year-old son, the same kind of thing as UCD. It took him weeks, and he has the best. Yeah, this is just weird. This just doesn't happen to me, and it's just it's not even the physical. It starts to weigh on your head too. Like, what the hell's going on? You know? Yeah, no, my vitamin D isn't low. This is just this is a nightmare. I've I've never had tonsillitis once. Never. I never had strep throat once. This is all from that virus. It's just what it is. You know. A local police officer may end up being shot by unknown guy. He confessed. He wrote on town page for punishment. You should have to watch footage of cop being shot line of duty. Ellie harassed me. Yeah, I mean that's a brutal one. But him making up that he was shot, it sounds like he shot himself in like the car. I mean that has happened, and that is just, I don't know. You know, I don't know if it's psychological to be hired in order to pull that one off, but it happens. People slip through the cracks. Sounds like he should never been hired and should never been a cop. Church mouse. He went down there for sex reasons, not to murder, in my opinion. I mean, it could be possible and just went, you know, went the wrong way. I mean, that's possible, but I don't think so. Dogs so loyal and protect. Yeah, they are. You know, she's amazing, and my kids, there's nobody getting near my kids when she is around. It's just it is on. Since I feel like I've been kicked in the face. Yeah, I feel like I got hit in the throat with a baseball bat. That's how I felt Friday. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't. I'm not kidding. That thing, the uvula in the back of my throat, was sitting sideways on the back of my tongue. I could not speak at all because it just kept bouncing, and it was so freaky. It was freaking disgusting and scary. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm glad you're feeling better. I know I sound crappy, but I actually do feel better. If that makes any sense. It's been a rough journey. It's been a rough journey. Ballot checks for 3 months of long-term problems, so then cleared up. That's cool. Like you held up and they were scared. Of course, they're of course. I mean, it's not. Think about why she recorded as he was closing in on them. Something, you know, put up a radar like this isn't okay. So to me, were they supposed to meet somebody, and this is the person coming at them, and they're like, we were supposed to meet somebody at the end of the bridge, but who is this? You know what I mean? So it does make sense. It does make sense to me. I like that, broad scroll. Yeah, I mean, I do think that they got the man in the video, but who else was there more involved? You know, that's the biggest question. Anthony, I spoke of this last week. Are the dogs that good? Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, you know, dogs, even if they lose the scent trail, they'll keep going until they pick up the trail again. You know, let's just say he walked down Deer Creek and crossed the Bridge Creek onto the main road. Even if it ended at the main road, now you're gonna canvass the whole area there. You know what I'm saying? The dog call off was a disaster. You know. Do you feel they encountered him before they hit the bridge? It's possible. It's possible, but I think more or less, were they supposed to meet at the end of the bridge, and while waiting there, they encountered him, and as he's closing in, they're saying, "Oh shit," you know. Yeah, Irene, the dogs could have taken. That's what I said last week. Like, how big of a screw up was calling off the dogs? This case might have not gone on 5 years, 8 months. Electra, to everybody out there, if somebody is trying to abduct you, your life is on the line in that moment. You have to fight. The outcome is the outcome. You have no choice but to fight. You never get taken to a second location. Never. That's just the stats of it are against you. You have to fight for your life right there. It doesn't matter. And you're talking about thinking about being on the bridge. If a gun is brandished, you fight, because the last thing that suspect wants to do is fire that gun and have anybody closing in on that in that direction. So you have no choice. You have to fight for your life. You have to. Hey, Silas. Church, I agree. I don't, I've gotten a lot of heat for saying I don't believe that he's ever killed before or after, but people feel differently. And I'm sorry that you were assaulted. I think she was talking about someone trying to abduct you and take you to a different location, because at that point you have to fight for your life in that moment. You cannot give in and leave and get into a vehicle or a trunk, or let somebody tie you up. That's where things are gonna go very bad very quickly. Well, Jam, we know the video is only 43 seconds long, so there's only so much that could be in it. If there was more video, I believe they would have stated that in Ron Logan's affidavit. Yeah, yeah, you have to fight. You have to dig your heels in the ground, your feet in the ground, and fight your ass off. You have to. Forever Young. I didn't know RA, but I did know his parents. I've heard his parents are very good people. Forever Young. I have heard that from quite a few people that are close to Peru and Mexico, Indiana. Public art. That's not 100% true. You got to look at it as he thought that he was having dogs come to search for the girls. You got to remember, they didn't think they were going to find the girls a double murder. So you got to think of it in that sense too. They thought that maybe there was a tragic accident, whatnot. They didn't think what they were going to find that day would happen. But it doesn't, and that is not an excuse for calling the dogs off. Listen to my episode 2 of Delphi Docs. It was a survivor advocacy, victim advocacy. I was the only male that was on. I was hosting with another retired female cop, and the first 15 minutes of it, before we get into survivor victim advocacy, we go over I go over the dogs, and there was somebody who has a state Indianapolis. Her husband was an Indianapolis cop, and we were just talking about canine situations. I was like, why didn't they call the canines from Indianapolis? Was it because maybe Indianapolis canines aren't allowed to leave the city? That's possible. But we talk about it. If you want to hear it, it's episode 2. It's up in the videos. It's a good listen. Jessica, it was just a very stupid statement to say that there was no threat to the community. I think it was to try and keep fears down, but that's why the Delphi city chief says, you're able to draw your own conclusions. And I think even Sergeant Riley said the same thing. So that could be, that could be why too. You know, we can't. Do we know dogs would cross the bridge? We just get in the car. Dogs don't lead them to where the car was parked. If you've never seen K9's track, look it up after we're done with the live, and you'll see, and you'll understand. You have dogs that are trained in just basic tracking of ground disturbance. Then there's the dogs that could track scent. The dogs it could have taken their handler directly to this man's house. We can't discredit that because that could have happened. Well, I don't know what that means. I won't decide anything until I see toxicology. Anything could have happened. You're talking about with the girls? We know they were murdered with a bladed weapon, so I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, you can never go to a second location. The odds of you're going to be murdered are so high, and I know that's hard to hear, but you have to fight for your life in that moment. A couple more minutes, because my throat is killing me as of now. We're gonna do another one tomorrow. I also have to do a Red Talk live. I gotta figure out when I could do that. I gotta get that in and get that done too. But we're gonna do a live tomorrow also. Yep, mind games are always good. Always good to play mind games on somebody that's trying to do wrong to you, because you take them off of their laser focus, and they'll have tunnel vision. That does happen. Could have been drug. I mean, it's possible, but we just have nothing to say that, Teresa. We just don't know. I feel more. I think you might be saying that because there was no struggle, but there's no reason for them to have put in Ron Logan's search warrant if the girls were, say, duct taped or zip tied. Because if they got no, say, DNA off of that, then there's no reason to include it in the search warrant. So there are things from Ron Logan's search warrant that are missing that will tell the rest of the story, and we'll get that in the probable cause affidavit. Yep. You have to fight for your life. Jessica, absolutely. And I know it's not an easy thing to talk about with your kids, but it is just fact. You have to fight for your life. And you have to tell your kids it's not about a fair fight. You eye gouge, most of the time it's somebody that's bigger than your child. So there's no fighting fair, scratching, ripping, whatever it is. And it's hard to talk about, but let me tell you something. You open hand right here. You hit it with this into that nose and push. You're going to cause some damage, And at that point, it doesn't matter. It's about fighting. It's about saving your life. Thanks, Connor. Nah, no problem, Public Art. Yeah, we're at 2 hours 54 minutes, and I kept going, but I'm struggling a little bit because 542 of you are in the chat. All I ask, please like, subscribe, and I'll figure out what time tomorrow, and I'll post it in the live, so you'll see it's there for everybody to come in tomorrow. Hope everybody had a good time. I appreciate all of you. Thanks, says Sharon. Yeah, lecture. You got to, the problem with teaching kids in school that is that you don't want to scare the hell out of school kids, but you need to do it in your own home. Your kids need to be prepared for what lies out there, because it happens every day. There are very bad people out there. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bulk. I know you You've been through hell and back, buddy. Thanks, Jan. Church Mouse, thank you. Thanks for being here. No, the whole fam here, this is, we're different. This is a good place to be, a safe place in our chat. Got great mods here. We don't play games. Carter uses tail and then story. He does say tail, though. He says them both. I get it, book. You the man. You got to pop on tomorrow. I know you sent me an email. I got thrown off when my wife came home for lunch. So I had to move and then come back. But we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You hit them anywhere that can cause eyes. Let me tell you something. You start gouging at somebody's eyes, they're going to think twice. That is not a fun thing to be dealing with. Safety tactics are such key, and parents tell your children what is out there when you feel it's the right time. When your kids are online, my son is 7 years old and he knows not to talk to weirdos on Roblox, because there are weirdos that will just they'll walk next to him the whole time he's in the game, and he knows not to talk to that person. But could it be a kid? It could be like a 3-year-old just following him around. It also could be a 30-year-old that's a deviant. Thanks, Susan. DR, thanks so much. Please subscribe. I'm happy you're here. This was a great live, one of the best we've had. We had a good Q&A prior. We got to Ron Logan's search warrant. I would have liked to got to more, but I like hanging out with all of you and answering questions. I think that's so important. So I think that's always an important thing. Alexa, I have track device my kids' clothes. There's nothing wrong with that. My kids have Apple Watches, cell phone, iPhones. You have to, and I get it. Some people are like, oh, you're overprotective. No, I'm not. I've seen the evil that's in this world, And my daughter's she's had an iPhone for 3 years since I think she was 7. She couldn't even use it at 7, but that phone went in her little bag anywhere she went, because I want to know my girl's safe, and I think that anybody should feel that. I don't know. Look, right now it's 2:30 my time, so it would be like 2 or 3 hours before that. So it would be like 11:30, 12:30 tomorrow my time. So I don't know what time it is for you. I think you're 5 hours, or maybe is it 4 hours now because of the time change? I don't know, but it's 12:30, like 11:30, 12:30 my time tomorrow. Everybody on the way out, anybody has anything to say, let me know. Let me know. Where does this go? 470 still in the chat. You people are awesome. Hey, Anthony, how are you, man? We went through the AWP stuff. You were one of the divers there, weren't you? I'm actually leaving now, but I'll be on tomorrow if you're around and you want to hang out in the chat. Just over everything. I've been on for 3 hours, but we did go over some of the stuff and whatnot. Yeah, you were +4, and then that's what I meant. With our change, it turned to 5. Yeah, let's jump the algorithm, everybody. Let's jump that algorithm. Jumped 2264 subs. I think in the last week let's see. This month we're up 500 something subs. It's amazing. It's all because of all of you. Sam, Sleuth's my buddy. He's a good friend of mine. Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. And and I know it's not, I know there's only so much a lot of you guys could say that we're that we're diving with AWP and stuff. I totally get it, and it's not all of you. Yeah, no, I know you were a former AWP member. I saw you in Might be, I don't know if it was Ick and Mel's chat, somebody's chat. I saw you in somebody's chat. But yeah, listen, you guys got my respect, the ones that left and the ones that resigned. I totally get it. You know, it's tough stuff. It is. Tomorrow, 11:30 or 12:30 Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. It should be 11:30, but it'll be up. It'll be up, and if you go to the channel on lives, a few hours from now, it'll be up with a countdown. So it'll tell you when. You got it, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, you got. I mean, I don't know who's denying that about teaching tactics. You got to teach tactics. Tactics are important. You know, protect our children, man. There's too many scary predators out there. You know. All right, all. It's great hanging with you. I'm gonna sign off, but leave the chat open for a couple more minutes. See everybody tomorrow.